Once upon a time, in a charming village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, there was a magical tree known as the Whispering Willow. This ancient willow had silver leaves that shimmered in the moonlight, and it was said to possess the power to grant one heartfelt wish to anyone who truly believed in its magic. In the village lived a kind-hearted girl named Mia. Mia loved the Whispering Willow deeply and often visited it to talk about her dreams and hopes. Her greatest wish was to bring happiness to her family and friends, who had been facing hard times lately. Her father, a skilled carpenter, had fallen ill, and her mother worked tirelessly to make ends meet. One crisp autumn evening, as the golden leaves fell around her, Mia sat by the Whispering Willow and whispered her wish into the gentle breeze. She asked for a miracle that would restore joy and prosperity to her family and the village. The next morning, Mia awoke to find a small, intricately carved wooden box on her doorstep. The box was adorned with delicate patterns and a shimmering silver key. There was no note, but Mia sensed that it was connected to her wish. The secret of the box. Mia took the box to the Whispering Willow, hoping it would offer some guidance. As she approached, the tree's leaves rustled softly, and she could hear faint whispers in the breeze. The silver key seemed to glow with a soft, inviting light. Mia unlocked the box, revealing a beautifully crafted locket inside. The locket had a tiny portrait of the Whispering Willow etched into it and a small compartment that held a single golden seed. The locket seemed to hum with a gentle, magical energy. The Whispering Willow's whispers grew clearer, and Mia understood that the locket was a key to unlocking a hidden treasure that would help her village. The golden seed was the heart of this treasure, which needed to be planted in a special place. The journey to the hidden garden. The tree's whispers guided Mia to a remote part of the forest, where a hidden garden was said to be located. It was a place of legends, rumored to be enchanted and filled with mystical creatures. Mia set out with the locket, the golden seed, and her loyal dog, Jasper, by her side. They journeyed through the forest, facing various challenges along the way. They crossed a crystal-clear stream with the help of a kind-hearted water sprite, solved riddles posed by a wise old fox, and navigated through a maze of enchanted vines that seemed to change paths. After a long and arduous journey, they finally reached the hidden garden. The garden was a breathtaking sight, filled with vibrant flowers, glowing trees, and a sparkling fountain at its center. Mia found a secluded spot near the fountain, where she planted the golden seed. As soon as the seed was planted, the garden began to shimmer with a brilliant light. Flowers bloomed instantly, and the fountain's water sparkled like diamonds. The magic of the garden was undeniable, and Mia could feel a powerful, positive energy radiating from it. The miracle of the hidden garden. With the garden's magic in full bloom, Mia and Jasper returned to the village. To their amazement, the once struggling village had transformed. The crops in the fields were flourishing, the river's water was crystal clear, and the village's spirits had lifted. Mia's father recovered from his illness, and her mother's hard work became a joyful endeavor rather than a struggle. The villagers gathered to celebrate, and Mia's wish had indeed come true. The magic of the hidden garden had brought prosperity and happiness back to their lives. The Whispering Willow's whispers grew softer, and Mia felt a deep sense of gratitude. She knew that the real magic lay in the love and care that the villagers had for one another, and the hidden garden was a reminder of the power of hope and kindness. A lasting legacy. In the years that followed, the village of Mia flourished, and the story of the Whispering Willow and the hidden garden was passed down through generations. The garden remained a secret haven for those who needed inspiration and renewal, and the village thrived under its magic. Mia grew up to become a beloved storyteller, sharing the tale of the Whispering Willow and the hidden garden with children and visitors. Her story was a beacon of hope, teaching the value of believing in magic, kindness, and the importance of never giving up on one's dreams. And so, the village of Lumina continued to shine brightly, its people forever touched by the magic of the Whispering Willow and the hidden treasure that restored their joy and prosperity. The end. In a realm where the seasons painted the landscape with vibrant hues and magical creatures roamed freely, there lay a secluded glen known as the Echoing Glen. This enchanted place was famous for its extraordinary echoes, crystal-clear reflections of not just sounds but also of one's deepest emotions and dreams. Legend had it that whoever could decipher the echo's true message would find their heart's deepest desire. In the nearby village of Bramblewood lived a young woman named Elara. She was known for her compassion and creativity, often creating beautiful songs and stories for the villagers. Despite her talent, Elara felt a void in her heart. She dreamed of finding something meaningful that would complete her life's journey. The tales of the echoing glen intrigued her, and she resolved to uncover its secrets. One crisp autumn morning, with the air filled with the scent of pine and fallen leaves, Elara set out for the echoing glen. She packed a small bag with essentials, bread, cheese, and a flask of water, and took with her a locket her grandmother had given her, which she cherished deeply. As Elara approached the glen, she noticed the entrance was framed by ancient oak trees whose leaves shimmered like gold in the sunlight. She stepped through the entrance and found herself in a breathtakingly beautiful clearing, surrounded by tall, whispering grasses and a large, serene pond. The echoes began to play, a gentle, melodious murmur that seemed to speak in a language both familiar and mysterious. Elara walked to the edge of the pond and sat down, closing her eyes and listening intently. The echoes seemed to blend together, forming a symphony of hope, sorrow, joy, and longing. She heard the echoes of her own voice, but they were intertwined with other sounds, soft laughter, distant music, and the soothing rustle of leaves. Suddenly, a soft, ethereal light began to emerge from the pond. A figure appeared, shimmering and delicate, like a spirit born of moonlight and mist. It was the guardian of the echoing glen, a being with eyes like starlight and a gown that flowed like liquid silver. "Welcome, Elara," the guardian spoke, her voice like the whisper of a gentle breeze. "You have come seeking the truth of the echoes." Elara stood up, feeling a mixture of awe and nervousness. "Yes, guardian. I want to understand what the echoes are trying to tell me and find my heart's true desire." The guardian smiled warmly. "To understand the echoes, you must first listen to the one within your heart. The glen reflects your deepest emotions and dreams. To find clarity, you must confront your own heart's desires and fears." Elara closed her eyes again and took a deep breath. She thought about her dreams and fears, her longing for fulfillment, her passion for storytelling, and the desire to make a difference in the world. As she focused on these thoughts, the echoes around her began to form a clearer message. The echoes showed her a vision of herself standing on a grand stage, surrounded by people who listened to her stories with rapt attention and joy. She saw herself inspiring others, making a difference through her creativity, and touching hearts with her words. Elara opened her eyes, and the guardian's gentle gaze met hers. "The echoes have revealed to you your heart's true desire. You seek not just to create but to share your gifts with the world, to inspire and uplift those around you." Elara nodded, her heart swelling with a newfound sense of purpose. "Yes, that is what I want. To use my talent to make a positive impact on others." The guardian extended a hand, and the locket Elara had brought with her began to glow. "This locket holds a fragment of the glen's magic. Use it as a reminder of your journey and your purpose. It will guide you as you follow your dreams." With the locket glowing softly, Elara thanked the guardian and began her journey back to Bramblewood. Her heart was lighter, her spirit more determined. She knew that her path lay in sharing her stories and inspiring others, and she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Upon her return, Elara embraced her role as a storyteller and guide. She created tales that inspired, uplifted, and brought joy to the villagers. Her stories became a source of hope and wonder, just as the echoes of the glen had shown her. The locket hung around her neck as a constant reminder of her journey and the truth she had discovered within herself. And so, the village of Bramblewood thrived with creativity and inspiration, and Elara's stories became cherished legends. The echoing glen remained a magical place, a reminder that the true magic of the echoes was not in the voices they reflected but in the clarity they brought to those who listened. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering lake, there lived a kind-hearted young woman named Clara. Clara had a unique gift: she could make flowers bloom with a single touch. Her garden was renowned for its vibrant, ever-blooming flowers, which attracted visitors from far and wide. One evening, as Clara was tending to her garden, she noticed a starfall, a single bright star descending gently toward her. The star landed softly on her garden path, and to Clara's amazement, it transformed into a tiny, glowing creature with delicate wings and a twinkling crown. "Hello," the creature said in a melodic voice. "I am Leora, a star fairy. I have come to thank you for the beauty you bring to the world with your gift. For many years, I have watched your garden from the night sky, and it brings light and joy to everyone who sees it." Clara was astonished. "I had no idea my garden reached the stars," she said, blushing. Leora fluttered her wings gracefully. "Indeed, it does. And now, I have a special request. The Enchanted Meadow, a place of magic and wonder, is in peril. A dark spell has withered its flowers, and only the touch of a true heart can restore its beauty. Would you help us?" Clara agreed without hesitation, her heart swelling with a desire to help. Leora guided her to a hidden grove at the edge of the village, where the entrance to the Enchanted Meadow was concealed. With a wave of Leora's wand, a hidden door in the grove opened, revealing a shimmering path leading to the meadow. As they entered the Enchanted Meadow, Clara saw the once beautiful landscape now covered in a dull, gray haze. The flowers were wilted, and the air felt heavy with sadness. Leora explained that a sorcerer had cast a spell to drain the meadow's magic, hoping to control its wonders for himself. Clara knelt down and touched the ground, sending a wave of warmth through the meadow. Flowers began to stir, and small shoots of green emerged from the soil. Clara continued to walk through the meadow, her touch reviving the flowers one by one. Each flower that bloomed added a splash of color and renewed energy to the once sad landscape. As Clara worked, she felt a presence behind her. It was the sorcerer, cloaked in dark robes and with a scowl on his face. "You cannot undo my spell," he declared. "The magic of this meadow is mine to control." But Leora stepped forward bravely. True magic cannot be controlled by force. It thrives on kindness and love. The sorcerer sneered and attempted to cast a new spell to halt Clara's progress, but as he did, Clara's touch caused the flowers to sparkle with a radiant light, overpowering the dark spell. The enchantment protecting the meadow began to mend, and the sorcerer's powers waned. Desperate, the sorcerer tried to flee, but the meadow's magic had grown too strong. The flowers and trees, now glowing with vibrant colors, surrounded him and gently, yet firmly, ushered him out of the meadow. He was forced to leave, his dark spell dissolved by the meadow's renewed magic. With the sorcerer gone, the Enchanted Meadow flourished once more. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, and a soft, golden light bathed the landscape. Clara and Leora stood in awe of the transformation. "Thank you, Clara," Leora said with a grateful smile. "You have restored the magic of the Enchanted Meadow. Your kindness and courage have proven that the true power of magic lies in the heart." Clara smiled back, her heart full of joy. "I'm just glad I could help." Leora offered Clara a gift, a single star-shaped flower that would forever remind her of the magic she had restored. As a token of gratitude, Leora promised that Clara's garden would always be blessed with a special light that would make it even more enchanting. Clara returned to her village with the star-shaped flower in hand. Her garden became more magical than ever, glowing with a soft, otherworldly light. The villagers marveled at the beauty of Clara's garden, unaware of the magical adventure she had experienced. As the years passed, Clara's garden continued to be a place of wonder, bringing joy to all who visited. The Enchanted Meadow thrived, a reminder of the power of kindness and the magic that lies within the heart of those who seek to help others. And so, Clara's legacy lived on in both her garden and the Enchanted Meadow, a testament to the lasting impact of a true and caring heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where the night sky shimmered with countless stars, there was a quaint village named Starhaven. Nestled within a lush forest, the village was known for its midnight orchard, a magical grove where trees bore glowing fruits that illuminated the entire forest with a soft, enchanting light each night. the village children loved playing in the orchard, especially young Lila, who had a special bond with the trees. The Midnight Orchard was the heart of Starhaven, and its magical glow was believed to be a gift from the moon itself, ensuring peace and prosperity for the villagers. One evening, as the village prepared for the Moonlight Festival, the orchard's light began to flicker and dim. The once vibrant glow of the fruits waned, casting a shadow over the village. Concerned, the villagers gathered around the orchard, but no one knew how to restore its magic. Lila, who had always felt a deep connection to the orchard, decided to investigate. She approached the village elder, a wise woman named Elara. "Grandmother Elara, what can we do to save the Midnight Orchard?" Lila asked with determination. Elara's face was grave as she spoke. The orchard's magic is tied to a special crystal known as the Moon's Heart. It is said that the Moon's Heart was hidden away long ago to protect it from falling into the wrong hands. If it's lost or stolen, the orchard's light will fade. You must find the Moon's Heart and return it to restore the magic. With a sense of purpose, Lila set off on her quest. She ventured into the heart of the forest, guided by the faint glow of the remaining fruits. The forest was alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures, but Lila pressed on, her resolve unwavering. As she journeyed deeper into the forest, Lila encountered a shimmering, silver fox who appeared to be guarding a hidden path. The fox spoke with a voice like a gentle breeze. "To proceed, you must prove your heart is pure. Answer this riddle: I have no voice, yet I speak. I have no body, yet I am alive. What am I?" Lila thought for a moment and replied, "A dream." The silver fox's eyes twinkled, and it stepped aside, revealing the path to a hidden cave. Inside the cave, the air was cool and filled with the scent of ancient magic. At the cave's center, on a pedestal bathed in soft moonlight, rested the Moon's Heart, a crystal that pulsed with a gentle, silvery glow. But as Lila approached the Moon's Heart, she noticed a figure cloaked in shadows, an old sorceress with eyes that glowed like embers. "You seek the Moon's Heart," the sorceress said in a voice as cold as winter's breath. "To take it, you must pass one final test." The sorceress conjured a swirling, dark mist that filled the cave, making it difficult to see. "Face the darkness," she challenged. "If you can find your way through, you may take the Moon's Heart." Lila took a deep breath and stepped into the mist. She closed her eyes and focused on the memory of the orchard's warm glow and the love she felt for her village. Slowly, she began to see a faint, silvery light through the darkness. Following the light, she emerged from the mist, her heart filled with courage. The sorceress, seeing Lila's bravery and purity of heart, smiled and allowed her to take the Moon's Heart. Lila carefully carried the crystal back to the Midnight Orchard. As she approached, the orchard's fruits began to glow softly once more, and the light grew brighter with each step she took. Placing the Moon's Heart back in its rightful place at the center of the orchard, Lila watched in awe as the fruits burst into a dazzling array of colors, bathing the forest in a warm, magical light. The village erupted in cheers as the Midnight Orchard was restored to its former glory. That night, during the Moonlight Festival, the village celebrated with renewed joy and gratitude. The Midnight Orchard's light was more brilliant than ever, and Lila's bravery was honored with a special ceremony. From that day on, the story of Lila and the Moon's Heart was passed down through generations in Starhaven. A tale of courage, love, and the magic that resides in a pure heart. The Midnight Orchard continued to shine brightly, a beacon of hope and harmony in the land. And so, the village of Starhaven thrived under the eternal glow of the Midnight Orchard, forever blessed by the magic of the Moon's Heart. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled in a valley surrounded by misty mountains, lived a curious and kind-hearted girl named Mira. This village was known for its enchanting night skies, where stars seemed to dance and twinkle more brightly than anywhere else. One evening, as the village prepared for its annual star festival, a sudden, mysterious darkness fell over the valley. The stars, usually so bright, were hidden behind a thick, swirling fog. The villagers were worried, for they believed that the stars were responsible for bringing light and good fortune to their lives. In the center of the village stood an ancient oak tree, beneath which was placed an ornate lantern said to be blessed by the stars themselves. This lantern was traditionally lit during the festival to guide lost spirits and bring hope. But now, with the fog obscuring everything, the lantern remained dark. Mira, determined to restore the village's light, decided to embark on a quest to find out why the stars had disappeared. With a heart full of bravery and a small, enchanted map passed down through generations, she set off into the darkened forest that lay beyond the village. As Mira ventured into the forest, the fog seemed to thicken, and shadows danced ominously around her. But Mira pressed on, guided by her map, which glowed faintly in the darkness. After a while, she came across an old, weathered stone archway covered in ivy. The map indicated that this was the entrance to the Forgotten Grove, a place known only in legends. Through the archway, Mira entered the Forgotten Grove, a magical glen where the trees were adorned with shimmering leaves and the air was filled with a sweet, melodic hum. At the center of the grove stood a majestic, silver tree with a canopy that sparkled like stardust. At the base of the silver tree, Mira encountered an old, wise fairy named Leora. Leora had wings like gossamer and eyes that twinkled with ancient wisdom. "Welcome, brave one," Leora said. "The stars have hidden themselves because their light was stolen by a shadowy creature that thrives on darkness." Leora explained that the creature, known as the Umbral Wisp, had taken the light of the stars to feed its own dark magic. To retrieve the light, Mira would need to find the Umbral Wisp's lair and solve a series of riddles it had set to protect its stolen treasure. Mira thanked Leora and followed the directions given to her. The path led her through the enchanted river, where she had to cross using a series of stepping stones that seemed to appear and disappear in the shimmering water. A voice from the river challenged her with a riddle: "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" After thinking carefully, Mira answered, "A joke." The stepping stones solidified, and she crossed the river safely. Next, Mira entered a cavern illuminated by an eerie, green glow. Inside, the walls were covered in ancient runes, and in the center of the cavern floated a glowing crystal orb. As Mira approached, she was met by the Umbral Wisp itself, a shadowy figure with piercing eyes. "Only those who understand the true meaning of light can retrieve it," the Umbral Wisp declared. It presented Mira with another riddle: "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Mira pondered the riddle and then answered confidently, "A flame." The Umbral Wisp's eyes flickered, and the cavern's green glow began to fade. The creature, realizing that Mira had understood the true nature of light and darkness, reluctantly released the stolen light. The crystal orb's glow intensified, and the star's light was restored to the sky, dispersing the fog that had blanketed the village. Mira thanked the Umbral Wisp for returning the light and made her way back to the village with the orb. As Mira approached the village, the once hidden stars began to shine brightly again. The lantern beneath the ancient oak tree illuminated with a golden glow, casting light and warmth over the entire valley. The villagers cheered and celebrated, their spirits lifted by the return of the stars. That night, the Star Festival was more magical than ever, with the stars shining down like a blanket of diamonds. Mira was hailed as a hero, and the village continued to celebrate the beauty and magic of the night sky. Mira's bravery and kindness became a cherished story, inspiring future generations to believe in the power of light, courage, and the beauty of the stars. The Whispering Willow. Once upon a time, in a charming village nestled by the edge of a vast, enchanted forest, stood an ancient willow tree known as the Whispering Willow. The villagers believed that the tree could communicate with the spirits of nature and grant wisdom to those who sought its counsel. The tree was adorned with sparkling flowers that glowed softly in the moonlight, and its branches swayed even when there was no wind, as if whispering secrets to those who listened closely. In this village lived a kind-hearted young girl named Ilara. Ilara had a special bond with the forest. She often wandered its paths, talking to the animals and caring for the plants. One day, a mysterious fog rolled into the village, casting an eerie silence over the land. The fog brought with it an unsettling chill, and the villagers soon discovered that their crops were withering and their animals were falling ill. The call for help desperate to save her village, Alara decided to visit the Whispering Willow, hoping it could provide a solution to the village's troubles. Guided by the dim light of the glowing flowers, Alara made her way to the tree. The ancient willow's branches seemed to reach out to her as she approached. As she stood before the tree, Alara spoke softly, "Great Whispering Willow, my village is suffering. Please, tell me how I can help." The tree's leaves rustled, and a gentle voice, like a soothing breeze, answered, "To restore the balance, you must embark on a journey to find the Heartstone, a magical gem that lies hidden within the forest. Only the Heartstone can lift the fog and heal the land." The enchanted quest the Whispering Willow gave Alara a shimmering pendant, saying, "This pendant will guide you to the Heartstone. But beware, the forest is filled with challenges that will test your courage and heart." With the pendant clutched tightly, Alara set off into the forest. The pendant glowed softly, casting a warm light as she ventured deeper. The forest was filled with enchanting sights, glowing mushrooms, talking animals, and streams that sang sweet melodies. Yet, the fog loomed, making everything seem distant and shadowy. Her first challenge was a maze of tangled vines. The vines twisted and shifted, trying to confuse her. Remembering the Whispering Willow's advice to trust her heart, Alara focused on the pendant's light. It guided her through the maze, and she emerged into a clearing. The trials of the Heartstone in the clearing stood a majestic fox named Aurelius. Aurelius, with fur as silver as moonlight, guarded the entrance to the Heartstone's resting place. He spoke in riddles, testing Alara's wisdom and patience. Alara answered each riddle with sincerity and clarity, and Aurelius granted her passage. Next, Alara reached a shimmering lake. At the center of the lake, on a small island, lay the Heartstone, glowing with a warm, golden light. To reach the island, she had to cross a bridge made of ethereal light. The bridge was delicate and wobbled with each step. As she crossed, the fog tried to push her off balance, but Alara remained focused, guided by the pendant's steady glow. The Heartstone's power. When Alara reached the Heartstone, she could feel its powerful energy. She carefully picked it up and felt a surge of warmth and light flow through her. With the Heartstone in hand, she made her way back through the forest, using the pendant to navigate. As Alara emerged from the forest and approached her village, she held the Heartstone high. The gem's light pierced through the fog, dissipating it and restoring the vibrant colors of the land. The crops began to flourish, and the animals regained their strength. The villagers rejoiced and celebrated Alara's bravery and determination. They gathered around the Whispering Willow to thank it for guiding Alara on her quest. The tree's branches swayed with a gentle rustle, as if whispering its own gratitude. A lasting legacy. Alara's adventure became a cherished story in the village. The Whispering Willow continued to stand as a symbol of wisdom and hope, and the Heartstone was placed in a special grove as a reminder of the courage and unity that saved the village. And so, the village thrived, and Alara's name became synonymous with bravery and kindness. The enchanted forest remained a place of magic and wonder, forever blessed by the Heartstone and the Whispering Willow's gentle whispers. Once upon a time in the bustling town of Willowbrook, there stood a quaint old amusement park known for its magnificent carousel. Unlike any other, this carousel was rumored to be enchanted. It was said that if you rode it under the light of the full moon, you could visit places you'd only ever dreamed of. One crisp autumn evening, a young girl named Lily stumbled upon the park as she was walking home from school. Her heart leaped with excitement when she saw the carousel, its painted horses gleaming under the twilight sky. Lily had heard the stories about the magical carousel and had always wished to see if they were true. As the sun set and the moon began to rise, Lily approached the carousel. She noticed a beautiful, silver horse with a mane like flowing moonlight. It looked different from the other horses, almost as if it was calling out to her. Lily hesitated for a moment but then decided to take a ride. Just as she mounted the silver horse, the carousel began to spin slowly. The music that played was soft and magical, like a lullaby carried on the wind. The carousel started to whirl faster and faster, and Lily felt a tingling sensation. The world around her became a blur of colors and lights. Suddenly, the spinning stopped. Lily looked around and saw she was no longer in the park. She was in a lush, enchanted forest filled with trees that sparkled like diamonds. The air was fragrant with the scent of blooming flowers, and the ground was covered in soft, glowing moss. Lily could hardly believe her eyes. A gentle voice spoke from behind her. "Welcome, Lily," it said. She turned to see a fairy with shimmering wings and a kind smile. "I'm Elara, the guardian of the Forest of Dreams. This is a special place where wishes come true and dreams come alive." Lily's eyes widened with wonder. "How do you know my name?" Elara smiled. "The carousel is magic. It knows the hearts of those who ride it. I've been watching over it for a long time, waiting for someone like you to come." The fairy guided Lily through the forest, showing her marvelous sights: trees that whispered secrets, rivers of liquid gold, and flowers that danced on their stems. They came to a clearing where a grand banquet was set up, filled with delicious treats and glowing lanterns hanging from the trees. As they feasted, Elara told Lily about the history of the Forest of Dreams. It was a place where dreams and reality blended, and anyone with a pure heart could visit. Lily listened with wide eyes, fascinated by the tales of magic and adventure. After the feast, Elara led Lily to a shimmering pond. "This is the Heart Pond," the fairy explained. "It reflects the true desires of those who look into it." Lily peered into the water and saw her reflection smiling back at her. But she also saw images of her family and friends, their faces full of joy and love. She realized that her greatest wish was not for grand adventures, but for the happiness and well-being of those she cared about. Elara nodded in understanding. "The magic of the carousel reflects what is in your heart. Your wish for the happiness of others is truly special." As the moon reached its zenith, Elara took Lily back to the carousel. "It's time for you to return," she said softly. "But remember, the magic of the Forest of Dreams will always be with you." Lily mounted the silver horse once more, and the carousel began to spin. The forest faded away, and she was back in the park, the morning sun beginning to rise. She looked around, feeling a sense of peace and wonder. From that day on, Lily visited the carousel often, not to ride it, but to remember the magic she had experienced. She used the lessons she learned to bring joy and kindness to her everyday life. The enchanted carousel continued to spin, a beacon of hope and dreams, waiting for the next pure-hearted soul to discover its wonders. And so, Lily's heart remained forever touched by the magic of the carousel, reminding her that the truest magic of all is the love and happiness we share with others. The end. Once upon a time, in a faraway cloud, there lived a little raindrop named Drizzle. Drizzle was not like the other raindrops. While the others were content to stay in the cloud and wait for their turn to fall to earth, Drizzle was full of curiosity. It often looked down at the world below, wondering what it would be like to visit all the exciting places it could see from the sky. "Why do you want to leave?" asked Splash, one of the bigger raindrops. "The cloud is safe and cozy. There's no need to go anywhere." "But don't you wonder what's down there?" Drizzle replied, pointing toward the mountains, forests, and rivers far below. "I want to see the tall trees, the sparkling rivers, and the colorful flowers." The other raindrops shook their heads. "It's dangerous down there," they said. "You don't know what will happen if you leave the cloud." But Drizzle's curiosity was too strong. One day, when the wind blew gently through the sky, Drizzle decided it was time to go on an adventure. It closed its eyes, took a deep breath, and leaped out of the cloud. Down, down, down Drizzle fell, through the cool air, feeling the wind rush past. As Drizzle neared the ground, it saw a beautiful green forest. The trees were tall and majestic, their leaves rustling in the breeze. Drizzle was thrilled and couldn't wait to explore. It landed softly on a leaf, bouncing gently before settling down. "Hello there," said a friendly voice. Drizzle looked around and saw a tiny caterpillar crawling on the same leaf. "Hi," Drizzle replied. "I'm Drizzle. I just came from the sky. What is this place?" "This is my home," said the caterpillar. "It's a big, wonderful forest full of life. The trees are our guardians, and the plants and flowers are our friends." Drizzle was amazed. The forest was even more beautiful up close than it had imagined. But as the day went on, something strange began to happen. The sun came out, shining brightly in the sky. Drizzle started to feel warm, too warm. It began to shrink. "Oh no!" Drizzle cried. "What's happening to me?" The caterpillar looked at Drizzle and said, "You're evaporating. When the sun gets hot, water like you turns into vapor and floats back up into the sky." Drizzle was scared. "But I don't want to disappear. I haven't seen everything yet." "Don't worry," the caterpillar said with a gentle smile. "You won't disappear forever. You'll just change form. And who knows? You might return to the earth as a raindrop again one day." As the sun's warmth continued to pull Drizzle upward, it began to feel light as a feather. Slowly, it rose into the sky, turning into vapor. Drizzle floated higher and higher until it became part of a new cloud, drifting across the sky once more. Back in the cloud, Drizzle met other raindrops who had gone on similar adventures. They shared stories of where they had fallen, some into oceans, some onto mountains, and others into rivers and lakes. Each raindrop had a unique story, and Drizzle listened eagerly, imagining all the places it could visit next. Time passed, and one day, the wind began to stir the clouds again. Drizzle knew what this meant. It was time for another adventure. This time, Drizzle wasn't scared. It knew that no matter what happened, it would always come back to the sky, ready for a new journey. When the wind finally pushed the cloud across a wide desert, Drizzle decided to jump again. Down it fell, through the warm air, until it landed on the soft sand. The desert was hot and dry, with golden dunes stretching as far as the eye could see. Drizzle saw a small flower struggling to grow in the dry sand. It was wilting under the harsh sun. Without hesitation, Drizzle rolled down the sand and nestled at the base of the flower, giving it a much-needed drink of water. "Thank you, little raindrop," the flower whispered. "You saved me." Drizzle smiled, feeling proud. It may have been small, but it had made a big difference. As the sun rose higher, Drizzle knew it would soon evaporate again. But this time, it wasn't afraid. It had learned that every drop of water has its own important role to play in the world, whether in the sky, the forest, or even the desert. As Drizzle floated back up into the sky, it looked down at the earth with a sense of wonder. There were so many places to explore and so many ways to help. Drizzle realized that its curiosity had led it to discover the true beauty of the world and its place in it. And so, Drizzle continued to fall and rise, over and over again, each time in a new place, each time learning something new. The little raindrop that had once been curious and scared had now become brave and wise, ready for whatever adventure awaited next. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom surrounded by rolling hills and enchanted forests, there was a bustling village named Fernwood. Fernwood was known for its vibrant gardens, warm-hearted people, and the mysterious moonlit grove at the edge of the village. The grove was said to be a place of magic and wonder, visited only when the moon was full. In Fernwood lived a kind-hearted girl named Elara. Elara was known for her love of animals and her curiosity about the world. Every month, on the night of the full moon, she would visit the moonlit grove, hoping to uncover its secrets. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, Elara ventured into the grove, guided by its soft, silver light. As she wandered among the ancient trees, she noticed a faint, melodious tune coming from deep within the grove. Following the music, she discovered a hidden clearing bathed in moonlight. In the center of the clearing was a beautiful, glowing pond. Around the pond danced tiny, ethereal fairies whose wings sparkled like diamonds. At the edge of the pond, on a grand stone pedestal, was a magnificent crystal known as the Moonstone. Its light was mesmerizing, casting gentle reflections across the water. As Elara approached the Moonstone, a soft, musical voice spoke from the pond. "Welcome, Elara. You have been chosen for a special task. Elara looked around in awe. "Who are you? How do you know my name?" The voice responded, "I am the guardian of the Moonstone. The Moonstone holds the power to protect our world from encroaching darkness, but its magic has begun to fade. To restore its power, you must embark on a journey to find the lost fragments of the Moonstone scattered across the kingdom." Elara felt a surge of excitement and determination. "I will find the fragments and restore the Moonstone's magic." The Guardian nodded. "Your first fragment is hidden in the Whispering Caves, deep within the Frosted Mountains. Each fragment is guarded by a challenge that will test your heart and courage." With a newfound sense of purpose, Elara set off on her quest. Her journey took her through the Frosted Mountains, where she braved icy winds and treacherous paths to reach the Whispering Caves. Inside the caves, she encountered a labyrinth of shimmering ice formations. At the heart of the labyrinth, Elara found the first fragment of the Moonstone, encased in a block of ice. To retrieve it, she had to solve a riddle spoken by a magical ice spirit. "I am not alive, but I grow. I do not have lungs, but I need air. I do not have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Elara thought carefully and answered, "A fire." The ice spirit granted her passage, and Elara retrieved the fragment. She continued her journey, guided by the light of the Moonstone. The second fragment was hidden in the enchanted forest, guarded by a wise old tree. The tree posed a challenge that required Elara to demonstrate her kindness. A small, injured squirrel needed help, and Elara carefully tended to its wounds and provided it with food. The grateful squirrel led her to the second fragment, hidden beneath its nest. Elara's final challenge took her to the desert of shifting sands. The last fragment was buried in the vast desert, and she had to navigate the ever-changing dunes to find it. Along the way, she encountered a weary traveler in need of assistance. Elara shared her provisions and guided the traveler to safety, earning the traveler's gratitude and the final fragment. With all three fragments in hand, Elara returned to the moonlit grove. The fairies greeted her with joy, and she placed the fragments around the Moonstone. As the fragments were set in place, the Moonstone's light grew brighter and more vibrant, filling the grove with a warm, protective glow. The guardian of the Moonstone appeared and thanked Elara. "You have restored the Moonstone's power and saved our world from darkness. Your bravery and kindness have proven your worth." Elara smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. The Moonstone's magic continued to shine brightly, protecting Fernwood and its surrounding lands. Elara returned to her village as a hero, and her tale of adventure and bravery became a cherished story in Fernwood. The moonlit grove remained a place of wonder and magic, and Elara's kindness and courage continued to inspire all who heard her story. And so, the kingdom flourished under the protection of the Moonstone, and Elara's heart remained full of adventure and joy. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a village surrounded by vast emerald fields and rolling hills, there was a willow tree unlike any other. Known as the Whispering Willow, it stood at the heart of the village and was said to possess magical powers. The villagers believed that the tree could grant wishes, but only to those whose hearts were pure and selfless. In this village lived a young girl named Lily. She was known for her kind heart and unyielding curiosity. Lily lived with her grandmother, who would often tell her stories of the Whispering Willow and the many wishes it had granted. These stories filled Lily with wonder and a desire to visit the tree herself. One day, as Lily was tending to her chores, she noticed a commotion in the village square. A group of villagers had gathered, whispering anxiously. She hurried over to see what was happening and discovered that the village's well had dried up. Without water, the crops would wither, and the villagers would face a harsh winter. Determined to help, Lily decided to visit the Whispering Willow. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars began to twinkle, Lily made her way to the tree. She knelt beside its gnarled roots and whispered her wish. "Dear Whispering Willow, please bring water back to our village so that we may survive the coming winter," she pleaded, her voice soft but earnest. A gentle breeze rustled the willow's leaves, and Lily felt a strange warmth envelop her. The tree's branches swayed as if acknowledging her request. She stayed there for a while, feeling a deep connection to the ancient tree, before heading home with a hopeful heart. The next morning, Lily woke to the sound of joyous shouts. She rushed outside and saw the villagers gathered around the well. Water was flowing freely once more. The villagers were overjoyed, thanking the Whispering Willow for its miraculous gift. Lily's heart swelled with happiness, knowing that her wish had been granted. Days turned into weeks, and the village flourished. The fields were green, the crops grew tall, and the villagers worked together to prepare for winter. Despite their newfound prosperity, Lily felt that her work was not yet done. She knew that true happiness came not just from physical well-being but also from the bonds between people. She began organizing gatherings under the Whispering Willow, where villagers could share stories, sing psalms, and celebrate their community. These gatherings brought the villagers closer together, fostering a sense of unity and cooperation. One evening, during one such gathering, an old woman approached Lily. Her eyes sparkled with wisdom, and she spoke with a voice that seemed to echo with the whispers of the willow's leaves. "You have done well, young one," the old woman said. "The Whispering Willow's magic is not just in granting wishes but in bringing out the best in people. Your selfless heart and dedication to your village have made a true difference." Lily smiled, understanding that the magic of the Whispering Willow was intertwined with the goodness in people's hearts. The tree had granted her wish, but it was her own actions and the unity of the villagers that had truly transformed their lives. The story of Lily in the Whispering Willow spread far and wide, becoming a cherished legend. The tree continued to stand at the heart of the village, a symbol of hope and community. Villagers and travelers alike would visit, not just to make wishes, but to remember the power of kindness and togetherness. And so, the village thrived, its people living in harmony, guided by the gentle whispers of the willow tree in the legacy of a young girl's pure heart. They knew that as long as they remained united and kind, the magic of the Whispering Willow would always be with them. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Eldoria, there was a small village named Willowbrook. This village lay at the foot of a mystical mountain called Starfall Peak, which was said to be the dwelling place of the fabled Starry Crown. The Starry Crown was a magical artifact that could grant its bearer immense wisdom and prosperity. Many had tried to retrieve it, but none had succeeded. In Willowbrook lived a humble shepherd boy named Thomas. Thomas was known for his gentle heart and his kindness towards all living creatures. He often spent his days tending to his flock and dreaming of adventures. One night, as he lay under the starry sky, a bright shooting star streaked across the heavens and seemed to land on Starfall Peak. Thomas took it as a sign and decided to set off on a quest to find the Starry Crown and bring prosperity to his village. Early the next morning, Thomas packed a small satchel with bread, cheese, and a flask of water. He bade farewell to his family and his beloved sheepdog, Luna, who insisted on accompanying him. With Luna by his side, Thomas began his journey toward Starfall Peak. As they made their way up the mountain, the path became steeper and more challenging. They soon came to a dense forest known as the Whispering Woods. The trees seemed to murmur secrets, and the air was thick with enchantment. Thomas and Luna pressed on, guided by the light of the moon. In the heart of the forest, they encountered a wise old owl named Athene. "Who dares to enter the Whispering Woods?" Athene hooted. Thomas explained his quest, and Athene, sensing his pure intentions, decided to help. "The journey to the Starry Crown is fraught with peril," she said. "But I will guide you as far as I can." With Athene's guidance, Thomas and Luna continued through the forest. They faced their first challenge at the Crystal Cavern, where the path was blocked by shimmering, jagged crystals. Athene advised Thomas to listen to the song of the crystals to find the way through. Closing his eyes, Thomas heard a melodic hum and followed it, leading them safely through the cavern. Next, they reached the Silver Lake, whose water sparkled under the moonlight. The lake was home to a gentle water spirit named Seraphina. "To cross the lake, you must solve my riddle," Seraphina said. Her voice was soft and melodious as she asked, "What is it that you can keep after giving it to someone else?" Thomas pondered the riddle for a moment and then replied, "A promise." "Correct," Seraphina said with a smile. she created a bridge of light across the lake, allowing them to pass. As they continued their ascent, they came upon the final challenge, the guardian of Starfall Peak, a magnificent dragon named Draken. His scales shimmered like the night sky, and his eyes glowed with ancient wisdom. "Why do you seek the starry crown?" Draken asked, his voice rumbling like distant thunder. Thomas, with Luna by his side, spoke of his village and his desire to bring wisdom and prosperity to his people. Draken listened intently and then nodded. "To prove your worth, you must face your greatest fear." A swirling mist enveloped Thomas, revealing his deepest fear, losing his loved ones and failing his village. But Luna's steadfast presence gave him courage. He stood tall and declared, "I will not be afraid, for my heart is filled with love and hope." Draken, impressed by Thomas's bravery and pure heart, granted him passage. At the summit of Starfall Peak, under the light of 1,000 stars, Thomas found the starry crown resting on an ancient stone altar. As he touched it, a radiant light enveloped him, filling him with wisdom and strength. Thomas and Luna returned to Willowbrook, where the villagers welcomed them with joyous hearts. With the power of the starry crown, Thomas helped his village flourish. Crops grew bountifully, the wells were never dry, and the people lived in harmony and happiness. The legend of Thomas, the shepherd boy who braved the perils of Starfall Peak to bring prosperity to his village, was told for generations. And the starry crown remained a symbol of hope and courage, shining brightly for all to see. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in a tranquil valley surrounded by majestic mountains, lay a charming village named Lumina. Lumina was famous for its enchanting orchard that shimmered under the night sky, known as the Starlit Orchard. Every evening, the orchard would glow with the light of thousands of twinkling starfruits hanging from the trees. These starfruits were said to bring good fortune and happiness to those who harvested them. In the heart of Lumina lived a young girl named Mira. Mira was known for her kindness and adventurous spirit. She often gazed at the starlit orchard from her window, dreaming of one day exploring its magical trees. Her grandmother had once told her that the orchard held a secret, a hidden grove where the most powerful starfruit of all grew, known as the celestial fruit. One moonlit evening, as the village prepared for the annual harvest festival, the orchard's lights began to flicker and fade. The villagers grew worried, for the festival depended on the orchard's glowing fruits. Mira, determined to help, decided to investigate the source of the fading light. With a small lantern and a basket, Mira entered the orchard as twilight fell. She walked among the trees, marveling at the soft, starlit glow, until she reached a secluded corner of the orchard. There, she found a wise old owl perched on a low branch. "Greetings, young one," the owl hooted softly. "I am Orion, the guardian of the Starlit Orchard. The light of the starfruits has dimmed because the celestial fruit is missing. Without it, the orchard's magic fades." Mira's eyes widened with determination. "Where can I find the celestial fruit?" Orion's eyes glowed gently. "To find the celestial fruit, you must undertake 3 trials. Each trial will test your heart and spirit. Only those who are true of heart can reach the hidden grove where the celestial fruit grows." With a nod of resolve, Mira accepted the challenge. Orion guided her to the first trial, which was located at the edge of the orchard, where a serene pond lay. The challenge was to retrieve a glimmering star from the middle of the pond, guarded by a shimmering water spirit. The water spirit spoke, "To take the star, you must answer this riddle. I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter, but not go inside. What am I?" Mira thought carefully and replied, "A piano." The water spirit smiled and handed Mira the star, which twinkled brightly. Mira continued her journey, carrying the star with her. The second trial led Mira to a dense thicket of thorny bushes. In the center was a crystal-clear stream with a bridge made of shimmering light. But the bridge was guarded by a mischievous fairy who challenged her with a task. The fairy said, "To cross the bridge, you must show me a heart full of kindness. Find something in the thicket that can bring joy to someone else." Mira searched through the thicket and found a delicate, colorful flower hidden among the thorns. She picked it gently and offered it to the fairy, who was delighted by Mira's act of kindness. The fairy allowed Mira to cross the bridge and continue her journey. The final trial took Mira to a dark, mysterious cave. Inside the cave, a maze of glowing, twisting paths awaited her. At the end of the maze was a golden door, but it was locked with a magical keyhole that required a special key. Mira searched through the maze and found the key hidden in a small alcove. With the key in hand, Mira unlocked the golden door and entered a hidden grove bathed in soft, ethereal light. In the center of the grove stood a tree with a single, radiant celestial fruit hanging from its branches. As Mira reached for the celestial fruit, a gentle breeze rustled through the grove, and the fruit glowed even brighter. She carefully picked the fruit and felt its warmth and magic. When Mira returned to the orchard with the celestial fruit, the light of the star fruits began to shine brightly once more. The orchard was filled with a brilliant, golden glow, and the villagers rejoiced as the harvest festival continued with renewed magic and joy. The villagers celebrated Mira's bravery and kindness, and the story of her quest became a cherished legend in Lumina. The celestial fruit was placed in a special place in the village square, where its light would always remind everyone of the courage and heart it took to restore the magic of the starlit orchard. And so, the village of Lumina thrived under the magical glow of the orchard, and Mira's tale was passed down through generations, a testament to the power of determination and the magic that lies within a true heart. Once upon a time, in a quaint village named Larkspur, there was a hidden garden known only to the village's most trusted elders. This garden was known as the Moonlit Garden, and it was said to be filled with flowers that bloomed only under the light of the full moon. The most coveted of these flowers was the Starlit Rose, a magical bloom that was said to grant a single wish to anyone who possessed it. The villagers revered the Moonlit Garden and its secret, but they had long since forgotten how to find it. Over the years, the garden faded into legend, and the magic of the Starlit Rose was all but lost to time. In Larkspur lived a kind-hearted girl named Eloan. She was known for her curious nature and her love of the night sky. One evening, while walking through the village, Eloan overheard a conversation among the elders about the Moonlit Garden. Her heart fluttered at the mention of the Starlit Rose. She had always dreamed of seeing the garden and finding the magical flower. Determined to uncover the truth, Eloan decided to search for the Moonlit Garden. She began her journey by visiting the village library, where she pored over old maps and manuscripts. Among the dusty volumes, she found an ancient book with faded illustrations of a mysterious garden and a map that hinted at its location. With the map in hand and a heart full of hope, Eloan set out into the forest that bordered Larkspur. The journey was fraught with challenges, as the forest was dense and filled with magical creatures. As she wandered deeper into the woods, she encountered a mischievous fox named Fen. Fen had bright eyes and a quick wit, and he seemed intrigued by Eloan's quest. "What brings you to these parts, young traveler?" Fen asked, his tail flicking with curiosity. Eloan explained her mission, and Fen, fascinated by her determination, agreed to help her. "The Moonlit Garden is hidden well," he said. "But I know the forest well and can guide you." Together, they ventured through the forest, solving riddles and navigating obstacles. They crossed the River of Reflection, where the water showed glimpses of the past, and navigated the Maze of Whispers, where the wind carried secrets and illusions. As they journeyed, they encountered a gentle deer named Lyra, who had lived in the forest for many years. Lyra knew much about the garden's lore and agreed to join them, offering her knowledge and wisdom. The trio pressed on, their bond growing stronger with each challenge they faced. One night, as the full moon rose high in the sky, they arrived at a clearing. At its center stood an ancient oak tree with a door carved into its trunk. The door was covered in intricate symbols that seemed to glow faintly in the moonlight. Eloan studied the symbols and realized they were constellations. Using the map and the stars as a guide, she traced the constellations on the door. With a soft click, the door opened, revealing a hidden passage that led them into the Moonlit Garden. The garden was breathtaking. Moonlight bathed the garden in a silvery glow, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of flowers. At the center of the garden stood the starlit rose, its petals shimmering like the night sky. Eloan approached the flower, her heart pounding with excitement. As she reached for the starlit rose, a soft voice echoed through the garden. The rose may grant one wish, but it must be a wish made with a pure heart. Eloan closed her eyes and thought deeply about her wish. She had seen the struggles of her village and knew that her wish should benefit everyone. "I wish for prosperity and happiness for all the people of Larkspur," she said softly. The starlit rose glowed brightly, and a gentle breeze carried its petals into the air. The magic of the rose spread across the land, and the moonlit garden began to fade as the sun began to rise. Eloan, Fen, and Lyra made their way back to the village, their hearts filled with hope. When they returned to Larkspur, they found that the village had been transformed. The once modest village had become a flourishing haven, with fields of golden crops and homes brimming with warmth and joy. The magic of the starlit rose had granted Eloan's wish, bringing prosperity and happiness to all. The villagers celebrated Eloan, Fen, and Lyra, their bravery and kindness remembered for generations. The moonlit garden became a cherished legend, and the story of the starlit rose was passed down as a reminder of the power of selfless wishes and the magic that lies in the heart of a kind soul. And so, Larkspur lived happily ever after, forever grateful for the magical journey that brought them prosperity and joy. The end. Once upon a time, in a hidden corner of the world, there lay a kingdom known as Luminera. Luminera was famous for its breathtaking gardens and its ethereal moonlit nights. However, the kingdom's most precious secret was a flower called the Moonflower, which bloomed only once every 100 years under the light of the full moon. Legend had it that the Moonflower could grant a single wish to anyone who found it, but finding it was no easy task. In the village of Willowbrook, nestled at the edge of Luminera's enchanted forest, lived a kind-hearted girl named Eloan. Eloan loved the stories of the Moonflower, and she dreamed of finding it to help her village, which had been suffering from a long drought. One evening, as the full moon began to rise in the sky, Eloan decided to embark on a quest to find the elusive Moonflower. She packed a small satchel with provisions and set off into the forest, guided by the shimmering light of the moon. The forest was alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures, and the moonlight cast a silvery glow on the trees. Eloan followed a winding path that seemed to be illuminated by a gentle, otherworldly light. She came across a wise old owl perched on a branch. "Good evening, wise owl," Eloan greeted. "Can you help me find the Moonflower?" The owl, whose feathers sparkled like stardust, looked at her with keen eyes. "The Moonflower is not easily found, for it hides in a place where light meets shadow and dreams intertwine with reality. You must follow your heart and trust in the guidance of the moon." Eloan thanked the owl and continued her journey. As she walked, she noticed that the moonlight seemed to form patterns on the forest floor, leading her to a hidden glade. In the center of the glade stood a large, ancient tree with branches that seemed to reach out to the sky. Under the tree, Eloan found a stone pedestal with intricate carvings of stars and moons. Atop the pedestal was a small, delicate box. Inside the box was a silver key and a note that read, "To find the Moonflower. Seek the grove where dreams are born. Follow the melody of the moon and the whispers of the night." Eloan looked around and noticed a faint, melodic tune carried by the breeze. She followed the music to a nearby grove, where the trees glowed softly in the moonlight. In the heart of the grove, a crystal-clear pond reflected the light of the full moon. By the edge of the pond, Eloan saw a shimmering path of moonlight leading to a hidden entrance beneath the roots of a great tree. She used the silver key to unlock the entrance, revealing a staircase that descended into the depths of the earth. With determination, Eloan climbed down the staircase, which led her to an underground cavern bathed in a soft, mystical glow. In the center of the cavern was a pedestal with a single, radiant moonflower in full bloom. Its petals glowed with an iridescent light, and the air around it seemed to hum with magic. Eloan approached the moonflower with awe. She gently picked it, knowing that she had to make her wish. She closed her eyes and wished for rain to fall upon her drought-stricken village, hoping that it would bring life back to the land and restore hope to her people. As soon as Eloan made her wish, the moonflower's petals began to sparkle and emit a brilliant light. The light grew brighter and brighter until it enveloped the cavern. When the light faded, Eloan found herself back at the edge of the forest, the moonflower safely in her hands. She hurried back to Willowbrook, where she was greeted by a sky filled with dark, rain-laden clouds. As she arrived, the first drops of rain began to fall. The villagers watched in amazement as the rain nourished the parched earth, and the once dry river began to flow again. Eloan's wish had come true, and the village thrived once more. The story of the moonflower and Eloan's bravery became a cherished legend, reminding everyone of the magic that lies in selfless wishes and the power of hope. And so, Luminara remained a kingdom of wonder and prosperity, forever touched by the light of the moonflower and the courage of a young girl who followed her heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a tranquil village named Eldergrove, there was a well known for its mystical whispers. The well, tucked away in the heart of an ancient forest, was said to hold the wisdom of the ages. It whispered secrets to those who approached it with a pure heart and a kind spirit. The villagers believed that listening to the whispers could guide them through their greatest challenges. The village was home to a kind-hearted young woman named Iris. Iris loved her village deeply and was known for her generous spirit. Despite her humble means, she always found ways to help those in need, whether it was nursing sick animals back to health or aiding her neighbors with their daily tasks. One spring, a severe drought struck Eldergrove. The once vibrant fields became parched, and the riverbeds ran dry. The villagers were troubled, for their crops were failing, and their wells were running low. The only hope was the Whispering Well, which had not been visited in many years. The village elder, Old Merle, suggested that Iris seek the well's guidance. With a heavy heart, Iris agreed. She ventured into the forest, following the winding path to the Whispering Well. As she walked, the forest seemed unusually silent, and the air grew cooler. Eventually, she reached the well, its stones covered in moss and its rim lined with wildflowers. Iris approached the well and leaned over, peering into its depths. "Great Whispering Well," she called softly, "our village is suffering from a terrible drought. We need your wisdom to save our crops and our home." For a moment, there was silence. Then, a gentle, soothing voice emerged from the well. "To save your village, you must find the hidden spring that feeds this well. It lies beneath the ancient oak tree in the heart of the forest. The path will be revealed to you if your heart is true." Iris thanked the well and set off towards the ancient oak tree. The journey was arduous, as the forest seemed to shift and change with every step she took. After hours of walking, she finally reached the grand oak, its branches spreading wide like welcoming arms. At the base of the oak, Iris noticed a large, smooth stone covered in intricate carvings. She touched the stone, and it began to glow with a soft, golden light. The carvings shifted, revealing a hidden passage beneath the oak's roots. Iris descended into the passage, which led to a subterranean cavern. In the center of the cavern was a small spring, its water shimmering with a magical light. She knew this must be the spring that fed the Whispering Well. As Iris knelt by the spring, she saw that it was choked with debris and overgrown roots. With gentle hands and a kind heart, she began to clear the debris, her movements careful and deliberate. As she worked, she spoke softly to the spring, promising to care for it and protect it as she would her own home. As the last of the debris was removed, the spring began to flow more freely, its waters sparkling with renewed energy. Iris watched in awe as the water swirled and surged, filling the cavern with a soft, melodic sound. With the spring revitalized, Iris made her way back to Eldergrove. She arrived just in time to see the first drops of rain fall from the sky, followed by a steady downpour. The rain nourished the parched fields and filled the riverbeds, bringing life back to the village. The villagers celebrated with joy and gratitude. They honored Iris for her bravery and selflessness, recognizing that her pure heart and determination had saved their home. The Whispering Well, now revitalized by the spring's renewed flow, continued to offer its wisdom to those who sought it. Iris became a beloved figure in Eldergrove, and her story was told for generations as a reminder of the power of kindness and the importance of listening to the whispers of one's heart. And so, Eldergrove flourished once more, its fields green and fertile, its people content and hopeful. The village thrived under the watchful gaze of the Whispering Well and the gentle guidance of a young woman who had listened and acted with love. Once upon a time, in a secluded valley surrounded by misty mountains, there was a magical garden known as the Moonflower Garden. This garden was renowned for its stunning, luminescent flowers that bloomed only under the light of the full moon. The flowers were said to possess extraordinary powers, bringing good fortune and healing to those who found them. In the nearby village of Larkspur, a young girl named Isla lived with her grandmother. Isla was known for her kindness and curiosity. Her grandmother often told her stories about the Moonflower Garden, and Isla had always dreamed of seeing its beauty for herself. One evening, as the full moon began to rise, Isla decided to venture into the forest to find the legendary garden. Armed with a lantern, a map her grandmother had drawn, and a heart full of hope, she set out under the shimmering moonlight. The forest was alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures, and the path was illuminated by the soft glow of fireflies. Isla followed the map, which led her deeper into the woods and toward a hidden glade. As she approached the clearing, she saw a tall, silver gate entwined with ivy and adorned with delicate moonflowers. The gate was slightly ajar, and beyond it lay the Moonflower Garden. Isla stepped through the gate and gasped in wonder. The garden was more beautiful than she had ever imagined. Moonflowers of every color imaginable, silver, blue, violet, glowed softly in the moonlight, casting an ethereal light across the garden. Each flower seemed to pulse with a gentle energy, creating a symphony of shimmering light and color. As Isla wandered through the garden, she noticed a small, wooden bench under a grand, ancient oak tree in the center of the garden. Sitting on the bench was a small, magical creature, a moon sprite with delicate wings that sparkled like stardust. The moon sprite looked up and smiled warmly. "Welcome to the Moonflower Garden, Isla. I am Leora, the guardian of this place. We've been expecting you." Isla was surprised but pleased. "You were expecting me? How?" Leora's wings fluttered gently. "The garden senses the hearts of those who seek it. You have come with pure intentions and a kind heart. To honor the garden and its magic, you must complete 3 tasks. The first task was to gather the Moonflower Dew, a magical nectar that only collected in the heart of the garden. Isla searched for the dewdrops, finding them hidden within the petals of the moonflowers. With great care, she collected the dew in a small vial. The second task required Isla to sing a song of gratitude to the garden. Leora guided her to a serene, crystal-clear pond. Isla sang a gentle, heartfelt melody, her voice echoing across the water and mingling with the sounds of the night. As she sang, the moonflowers glowed even brighter, and the pond's surface shimmered with a silvery light. The final task was to solve a riddle posed by Leora. The sprite spoke softly, "I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?" Isla thought for a moment and then answered confidently, "A map." Leora's eyes sparkled with approval. "You have completed all the tasks with grace and wisdom. The Moonflower Garden's magic is yours to share." Leora handed Isla a small, glowing seed. "This is the seed of moonlight. Plant it in your village, and its magic will bring prosperity and healing to those who need it." With the seed safely tucked away, Isla bid farewell to Leora and the Moonflower Garden. She returned to Larkspur with a heart full of joy and hope. When she planted the seed of moonlight in her village's garden, a wondrous transformation began. The garden flourished with beautiful, luminescent flowers that bloomed under the moonlight, much like those in the Moonflower Garden. The village thrived, and the flowers brought health and happiness to everyone who touched them. Isla became known as the guardian of the Moonflower Garden, and the story of her adventure was passed down through generations. The Moonflower Garden continued to bloom in the hearts of the villagers, a symbol of the magic that exists when one follows their dreams with kindness and courage. And so, the village of Larkspur lived happily ever after, forever touched by the magic of the Moonflower Garden and the brave heart of a young girl named Isla. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between the Azure Sea and Emerald Forests, there lived a young girl named Evelina. Evelina was known for her golden hair, bright green eyes, and a heart full of dreams. She lived in the quaint village of Eldoria, where every corner was filled with laughter and every path led to an adventure. Evelina's best friend was a curious squirrel named Nutmeg, who often accompanied her on her daily explorations. One sunny morning, as they wandered through the forest, they stumbled upon a hidden, overgrown path that neither had ever seen before. Evelina, her curiosity piqued, decided to follow the path, with Nutmeg chattering excitedly on her shoulder. The path led them to a magnificent, sparkling waterfall that cascaded into a crystal-clear pool. At the edge of the pool was a large, ancient stone with mysterious runes carved into it. As Evelina traced her fingers over the runes, they began to glow, and a soft, melodious voice filled the air. "Brave traveler, you have found the Whispering Falls, the gateway to the Enchanted Grove. Within this grove lies the Amulet of Seraphina, a powerful artifact that can bring peace and prosperity to the land. But be warned, the path to the amulet is fraught with challenges that will test your heart, mind, and spirit." Evelina's eyes sparkled with determination. She had always dreamed of embarking on a great adventure and helping her village. With Nutmeg by her side, she stepped through the waterfall and into the Enchanted Grove. The grove was a place of wonder, filled with towering trees that seemed to touch the sky and flowers that glowed with an inner light. As Evelina and Nutmeg ventured deeper, they encountered their first challenge, a labyrinth of thorny vines. The vines twisted and turned, creating a maze that seemed impossible to navigate. Suddenly, a graceful deer appeared, its eyes wise and gentle. "To pass through the labyrinth, you must solve this riddle. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, and I can drown. What am I?" Evelina thought for a moment, then smiled. "You are fire." The deer nodded and the thorny vines parted, revealing a clear path. Evelina and Nutmeg continued their journey, soon arriving at a shimmering pond guarded by a beautiful swan. The swan spoke in a voice like tinkling bells. "To cross this pond, you must show kindness. Bring life to this wilted flower," she said, pointing to a withered bloom at the pond's edge. Evelina knelt by the flower and gently cupped it in her hands. Remembering the stories her grandmother used to tell about the healing power of song, she began to sing a soft, sweet melody. As she sang, the flower began to revive, its petals unfurling and its color returning. The swan smiled and a bridge of water lilies formed across the pond, allowing Evelina and Nutmeg to cross safely. Their final challenge awaited them in a sunlit glade, where an old, twisted tree stood. In the tree's hollow was a shimmering light, the Amulet of Seraphina. However, as they approached, a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness. It was the sorcerer Valtor, who had been seeking the amulet to use its power for his own dark purposes. "You cannot take the amulet," Valtor hissed. "It belongs to me." Evelina stood her ground, her heart pounding but her resolve unwavering. "The amulet belongs to those who seek to bring peace and goodness. You have no right to it." Valtor sneered and raised his staff, casting a dark spell toward Evelina. But before the spell could reach her, Nutmeg leapt from her shoulder and knocked the staff from Valtor's hand. In the ensuing struggle, Evelina seized the amulet and held it high. A brilliant light burst forth, banishing the shadows and rendering Valtor powerless. With the amulet in her grasp, Evelina felt its warmth and power. She made a wish for peace and prosperity for her village and all the lands beyond. The amulet's light enveloped the grove, and a wave of magic spread throughout the kingdom, healing the land and bringing joy to its people. Evelina and Nutmeg returned to Eldoria as heroes. The villagers celebrated their bravery and selflessness, and the Amulet of Seraphina was placed in a special shrine where its magic could continue to bless the kingdom. From that day on, Evelina's name was spoken with reverence and admiration. She continued to explore and protect her beloved land, her heart full of the courage and kindness that had guided her on her extraordinary journey. And so, the kingdom of Eldoria thrived under the watchful eyes of its brave young hero, living happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a picturesque village surrounded by rolling hills and vibrant meadows, there was a legend about a hidden melody that could bring peace and harmony to anyone who heard it. The melody was said to be hidden deep within a magical forest, known as the Whispering Woods, where the trees sang softly with the wind and the streams babbled gentle tunes. In this village lived a young girl named Eloan. Eloan was known for her love of music and her ability to play the lute with a grace that captivated everyone who listened. Despite her talent, she often felt that her music could be more than just beautiful notes, it could heal hearts and bring people together. So, when she heard about the hidden melody, Eloan was determined to find it and share it with her village. One bright morning, with the first light of dawn casting a golden hue over the land, Eloan set out for the Whispering Woods. She carried her lute in a small pouch of provisions, her heart filled with hope and excitement. As she entered the forest, the trees seemed to welcome her with a soft rustling, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. The forest was alive with gentle sounds, as if the trees were whispering secrets and the birds were singing in harmony. Eloan followed a winding path that led deeper into the woods. The path was lined with glowing mushrooms and delicate, luminescent flowers that seemed to guide her way. After walking for a while, Eloan arrived at a clearing where an old, wise oak tree stood. The tree's branches were adorned with shimmering leaves, and its trunk was covered in intricate carvings. As Eloan approached, she heard a soft, melodic hum emanating from the tree. "Welcome, Eloan," a gentle voice said. It was the spirit of the oak tree, glowing with a soft, golden light. To find the hidden melody, you must complete 3 tasks, each one testing a different aspect of your heart. Eloan nodded eagerly, ready to accept the challenge. The first task was the task of generosity. The spirit guided Eloan to a grove where a family of deer was struggling to find food. The grove had been depleted by the storm, and the deer were hungry. Eloan took some of the food from her pouch and scattered it around the grove. The deer approached, their eyes filled with gratitude, and soon they were eating happily. The second task was the task of courage. The spirit led Eloan to a deep, shadowy ravine where a frightened fox was trapped. The fox had ventured too close to the edge and was unable to find its way back. Eloan carefully descended into the ravine, calming the fox with her soothing voice. She helped the fox climb back up to safety, and the fox nuzzled her in thanks before disappearing into the forest. The final task was the task of wisdom. Eloan was presented with a riddle inscribed on a stone pedestal, asterisk, "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Star. Eloan pondered the riddle, remembering her own experiences and the lessons she had learned. After a moment of thought, she answered, "A joke." The stone pedestal glowed softly, and a hidden compartment opened, revealing an old, beautifully crafted music box. With the music box in hand, Eloan returned to the oak tree. The spirit of the oak tree smiled and said, "You have completed the tasks with a true heart. The hidden melody is now yours to share." Eloan opened the music box, and a delicate, enchanting tune filled the air. The melody was unlike anything she had ever heard, soothing and uplifting, with a harmony that resonated deeply. She played the melody on her lute, and the notes blended seamlessly with the music from the box. As Eloan played, the Whispering Woods seemed to come alive with the melody. The trees swayed gently, and the animals gathered around to listen. The music spread through the forest and beyond, reaching her village. When Eloan returned to the village, she shared the melody with her friends and family. The music brought a sense of calm and joy to everyone who heard it. The village was filled with laughter and harmony. And the bonds between the villagers grew stronger. The hidden melody became a cherished part of the village's traditions, and Eloan's music was celebrated as a gift from the Whispering Woods. The forest continued to hum its gentle tunes, and the village thrived in peace and unity. And so, Eloan's quest for the hidden melody became a beloved story, reminding everyone of the power of generosity, courage, and wisdom, and the magic that lies in sharing a beautiful gift. The end. Once upon a time, in a land of rolling hills and endless meadows, there was a peaceful village called Meadowbrook. Nestled in the heart of this village was an ancient oak tree known as the Wisdom Tree. This tree was said to hold the knowledge of the ages and granted guidance to those who sought it with a pure heart. In Meadowbrook lived a young boy named Finn, who was known for his boundless curiosity and his knack for helping others. Finn had a special bond with the animals of the village, and his best friend was a clever raccoon named Pip. One day, as Finn and Pip were playing near the wisdom tree, they noticed that its leaves were turning a sickly yellow, and its once strong branches drooped. The tree's magic seemed to be fading, and the village began to suffer as a result. Crops were failing, and the river that flowed through Meadowbrook had turned a murky brown. Finn knew that something had to be done. He approached the wisdom tree and asked, "What has happened to you? How can we help?" To Finn's surprise, the tree spoke in a gentle, rustling voice. "A dark spell has been cast upon me by the shadow sorcerer, who seeks to drain the land of its magic. To restore my strength, you must retrieve the heart of the forest, a magical gem hidden deep within the enchanted caverns. Only someone with true courage and a kind heart can succeed." Determined to save the wisdom tree in Meadowbrook, Finn and Pip set off on their quest. They journeyed through the enchanted forest, where the trees whispered ancient secrets and the path seemed to shift and change. Their first challenge was the trial of courage. They came across a deep, dark chasm with a rickety rope bridge swaying in the breeze. Pip, though frightened, offered encouragement. Finn took a deep breath and led the way across the bridge, step by step. The bridge creaked and swayed, but Finn's determination and Pip's support helped them cross safely. On the other side, they found the entrance to the enchanted caverns. As they entered, they faced the second challenge, the trial of wisdom. The cavern walls were lined with glowing crystals, and a giant stone guardian blocked their path. The guardian spoke in a deep voice, "To pass, answer this riddle. I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter, but you can't leave. What am I?" Finn thought carefully and then answered, "A piano." The stone guardian's eyes glowed with approval, and he stepped aside, allowing them to proceed. Deeper into the caverns, they encountered the final challenge, the trial of kindness. They found themselves in a chamber where a sorrowful spirit was trapped. The spirit had been cursed by the shadow sorcerer and was bound to guard the heart of the forest. Finn and Pip approached the spirit with empathy and kindness. Finn spoke gently, "We're here to help you and restore the magic. Can you guide us to the heart of the forest?" Moved by Finn's compassion, the spirit guided them to a hidden alcove where the heart of the forest lay. The gem was radiating a soft, golden light, but it was surrounded by a dark aura. Finn carefully picked up the gem, and as he did, the dark aura dissipated, revealing the gem's true brilliance. With the heart of the forest in hand, Finn and Pip returned to the wisdom tree. The tree's leaves began to turn vibrant green once more, and its branches reached towards the sky with renewed strength. The river cleared, and the crops began to flourish again. The villagers of Meadowbrook celebrated Finn and Pip's bravery with a grand feast. The wisdom tree, now restored, thanked them with a gentle rustling of its leaves. "You have saved the land and restored the balance of magic. Meadowbrook will forever be in your debt." Finn and Pip's adventure became a beloved tale in Meadowbrook, a reminder of the power of courage, wisdom, and kindness. The village continued to thrive, and the bond between Finn and Pip grew stronger with each passing day. And so, the land of Meadowbrook flourished once more, forever touched by the heroism of a brave boy and his clever raccoon friend. The end. The Lantern of Lumina. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there stood a charming old lighthouse. This lighthouse was not just a beacon for sailors, it was also known to hold a secret. The villagers believed that inside the lighthouse was a magical lantern called the Lantern of Lumina. The lantern was said to have the power to grant one wish to someone who truly needed it. In this village lived a humble boy named Oliver. Oliver was kind-hearted and always willing to help others, even though he didn't have much to call his own. His family was poor, and the village was suffering from a recent storm that had destroyed crops and homes. Despite his own troubles, Oliver worked tirelessly to support his neighbors and help rebuild the village. One stormy night, Oliver's mother fell ill, and their small cottage was barely holding together. Hearing the villagers speak of the Lantern of Lumina and its magical properties, Oliver decided to seek it out. He hoped that the lantern's magic could bring relief to his family and the village. The journey to the lighthouse the next morning, with a heavy heart but determined spirit, Oliver set off towards the lighthouse. The path was difficult, with the remnants of the storm making the journey treacherous. But Oliver's resolve was strong, and he pressed on through the rain and wind. As Oliver approached the lighthouse, he saw an old wooden door with intricate carvings. To his surprise, the door was slightly ajar. He pushed it open and stepped into the dimly lit interior. The lighthouse was filled with the scent of old sea air and salt. The keeper of the lighthouse in the center of the lighthouse stood a spiral staircase leading up to the lantern. At the base of the stairs sat an elderly man with a long, silver beard. He was the keeper of the lighthouse, a wise and gentle soul who had tended to the lighthouse for many years. The keeper looked at Oliver with kind eyes and said, "To reach the Lantern of Lumina, you must first prove your worth. Solve my riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Oliver thought for a moment and then answered, "An echo." The keeper smiled and nodded, motioning for Oliver to proceed up the stairs. The lantern was at the top, glowing softly through the stormy windows. The Lantern of Lumina at the top of the lighthouse, Oliver saw the Lantern of Lumina resting on a pedestal. The lantern was beautifully crafted, with delicate patterns that shimmered like stardust. As Oliver approached, he could feel a warm, comforting glow emanating from it. A soft voice echoed from the lantern, "To grant your wish, you must speak from the heart. What you asked for must be for the benefit of others." Oliver took a deep breath and said, "I wish for my village to be restored, for the storm to be healed, and for my family and neighbors to find happiness and prosperity again." As Oliver spoke, the lantern's light grew brighter, and a gentle, golden glow filled the room. The light spread outwards, flowing through the stormy clouds and over the village. The return to the village. When Oliver returned to his village, he was greeted with a miraculous sight. The storm had cleared, and the village was bathed in golden sunlight. The homes were repaired, the fields were green, and there was food and clean water for everyone. The village was bustling with joy and laughter. Oliver's family was in good health, and the village celebrated with a grand feast to honor Oliver's bravery and kindness. The magic of the Lantern of Lumina had transformed their lives, and Oliver was hailed as a hero. The tale of Oliver and the Lantern of Lumina became a cherished story in the village, a reminder of the power of selflessness and the magic that can be found when one truly cares for others. And so, the village continued to thrive, forever blessed by the magic of the Lantern of Lumina and the heart of one extraordinary young boy. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a village named Luminera. This village was unique because every night, its sky was lit up by the most spectacular display of stars. The villagers believed that their fortunes and well-being were tied to the brightness of these stars. Among the villagers lived a young girl named Lyra, who was known for her adventurous spirit and her deep connection to the night sky. Lyra lived with her grandmother, a wise woman who often told tales of magical creatures and ancient legends. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace, her grandmother shared the most intriguing tale of all, the legend of the starlight flower. Long ago, her grandmother began, the heavens blessed our village with the starlight flower, a magical bloom that shines brighter than the stars themselves. It is said that the flower has the power to grant a single wish to whoever finds it. But beware, for the path to the flower is fraught with challenges that test the heart and spirit. Lyra's eyes sparkled with curiosity. Has anyone ever found the starlight flower, Grandma? Many have tried, my dear, her grandmother replied, but none have returned. It is said that only the purest of heart can succeed. That night, as Lyra gazed at the starlit sky from her bedroom window, she felt a calling. She decided that she would find the starlight flower and use its magic to bring prosperity and joy to her village. At dawn, Lyra packed a small bag with essentials, some food, a flask of water, and her grandmother's compass. She set off on her journey, her heart filled with determination and hope. As she ventured into the dense forest surrounding Luminera, she encountered her first challenge, a wide, raging river. The current was too strong to swim across, and there was no bridge in sight. While pondering her options, Lyra noticed a family of beavers working tirelessly to build a dam. Inspired by their teamwork, she offered to help. With her assistance, the beavers quickly completed the dam, creating a safe passage across the river. "Thank you, kind girl," said the beaver leader. "You have shown us great kindness. May your journey be blessed." Lyra continued her journey with a newfound sense of camaraderie. As she delved deeper into the forest, she came upon a dark and twisted part of the woods, where eerie shadows danced and whispered. This was the Forest of Illusions, a place that preyed on one's fears and doubts. Lyra felt her heart race, but she remembered her grandmother's tales of courage. She took a deep breath, steadied her mind, and pressed on. Suddenly, a monstrous creature emerged from the shadows, blocking her path. It was a shadow beast, a fearsome being with glowing red eyes. "Turn back, or face your doom," it growled. Lyra stood her ground. "I am not afraid of you," she declared. "I seek the Starlight Flower to bring hope to my village. You cannot stop me." The beast lunged at her, but Lyra remembered the beavers and their teamwork. She quickly devised a plan, using the shadows to her advantage. She led the beast into a trap, where it became entangled in the thick vines and roots of the forest. The beast struggled but eventually vanished, defeated by its own darkness. Exhausted but undeterred, Lyra continued her journey. As the forest began to thin, she found herself at the foot of a towering mountain. At its peak, she knew, lay the Starlight Flower. The climb was steep and treacherous, but Lyra's resolve never wavered. Hours turned into days as she ascended the mountain. Her hands were blistered, and her legs ached, but the thought of her village kept her going. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, she reached the summit. There, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight, was the Starlight Flower. It was more beautiful than she had ever imagined, its petals shimmering with a celestial light. With trembling hands, Lyra approached the flower. "I wish for my village to be prosperous and joyful," she whispered. As she touched the flower, a warm, radiant light enveloped her, filling her with a sense of peace and fulfillment. The flower's magic flowed through her, and she knew her wish had been granted. Lyra descended the mountain, her heart light and her spirit soaring. When she returned to Luminera, she found the village transformed. The fields were lush and bountiful, the river flowed clear and strong, and the villagers were filled with joy and hope. They welcomed her back as a hero, and Lyra shared her tale of courage, kindness, and the power of a pure heart. From that day on, Luminera prospered under the bright starlit skies, and the legend of Lyra and the Starlight Flower was passed down through generations, a testament to the power of determination, bravery, and love. And so, the tale of the brave little girl who found the Starlight Flower and brought light to her village lived on, reminding all who heard it that even in the darkest times, a pure heart can shine the brightest. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the hills were covered in flowers and the river sparkled like diamonds, there was a peaceful village named Greenleaf. In this village lived a kind-hearted girl named Alara, who had a special bond with animals. She spent her days tending to the village garden and caring for the creatures of the forest. One day, while Alara was gathering wildflowers near the edge of the woods, she heard a faint, magical melody drifting through the air. Intrigued, she followed the sound and came upon a small clearing she had never seen before. In the center of the clearing stood an old, gnarled tree with golden leaves that shimmered in the sunlight. Perched on one of the branches was an exquisite songbird with feathers that glistened like a rainbow. The bird was singing the enchanting melody that had drawn Alara to this hidden grove. The song was so beautiful that it brought tears to Alara's eyes. As the bird finished its song, it looked down at Alara with wise, twinkling eyes. "Greetings, kind soul," the bird spoke in a voice as sweet as its song. I am Lyra, the enchanted songbird. I have been waiting for someone with a pure heart to find me." Elara was astonished but managed to respond, "Hello, Lyra. Your song is so beautiful. Why have you been waiting for me?" Lyra fluttered her wings gracefully. "I have been enchanted by a spell that keeps me bound to this tree. The spell can only be broken by someone who truly understands the magic of kindness and love. If you help me, I can bring great joy to your village." Elara's eyes widened with hope. "How can I help you?" Lyra explained that in order to break the spell, Elara needed to gather 3 special items from the forest: the silver leaf, the moonstone petal, and the whispering feather. Each item was guarded by a magical creature and required a deed of kindness to obtain. Determined, Elara set off into the forest. Her first task was to find the silver leaf, which was guarded by a wise old tortoise named Terran. Terran lived by a tranquil pond and was known for his wisdom. When Elara reached the pond, Terran greeted her kindly. "To earn the silver leaf, you must help me gather herbs for my potion," he said. Elara agreed and spent the afternoon collecting herbs with Terran. In gratitude, Terran presented her with the silver leaf, which shimmered like liquid silver. Next, Elara ventured deeper into the forest to find the moonstone petal, which was guarded by a gentle deer named Lumina. Lumina's forest home was filled with moonlit flowers that bloomed only at night. To earn the moonstone petal, Elara helped Lumina care for the flowers and ensure they received enough light. Lumina, touched by Elara's kindness, gave her the delicate petal that glowed softly in the dark. Finally, Elara needed the whispering feather, which was guarded by a playful sprite named Puck. Puck lived in a hidden grove and loved to play games. To earn the feather, Elara joined Puck in his games, showing genuine joy and friendliness. Puck, pleased with her spirit, gifted her the feather, which shimmered with a soft, ethereal light. With all 3 items in hand, Elara returned to the clearing where Lyra awaited. The enchanted songbird sang a joyous tune as Elara presented the silver leaf, moonstone petal, and whispering feather. As Lyra touched each item, a burst of magic enveloped the grove, breaking the spell that had bound her to the tree. Lyra transformed into a beautiful fairy with shimmering wings. "Thank you, Elara. Your kindness has set me free. As a token of my gratitude, I will grant a blessing to your village." With a wave of her wand, Lyra sent a wave of magical light towards Greenleaf. The village was soon transformed into a place of extraordinary beauty and joy. Flowers bloomed in vibrant colors, the river sparkled even brighter, and the animals seemed to sing along with Lyra's melody. Elara returned to the village, where she was greeted with cheers and celebrations. The villagers were amazed by the transformation and grateful for the magic that had touched their lives. Elara shared the story of her adventure, and the tale of the enchanted songbird became a beloved legend in Greenleaf. From that day on, the village thrived in happiness and harmony, and Elara's name was remembered as the kind-hearted girl who brought magic and joy to Greenleaf through her deeds of love and kindness. In a land where the moonlight danced on the silver waters of a grand lake, there was a hidden kingdom known only to those with the purest of hearts. This kingdom, called Lumina, was a place of wonder where the trees glowed softly, and the flowers sang lullabies to the stars. Its ruler was Queen Seraphina, a kind and wise queen who possessed a magical moonstone that kept the kingdom bathed in eternal twilight. The kingdom's peace was threatened when the moonstone, which had been safeguarded for centuries, began to dim. The once brilliant light now flickered weakly. Queen Seraphina, worried about the kingdom's future, summoned her most trusted advisor, a wise old owl named Orin. "Orin," the queen said, "the moonstone's light is fading, and with it, the magic of Lumina is weakening. We must find the source of the problem before it's too late." Orin, with his deep knowledge of ancient lore, explained that the only way to restore the moonstone's power was to find the lost starlight crystal, which had been hidden long ago, to protect it from dark forces. To find the crystal, they would need to follow 3 clues left by the kingdom's founders. Queen Seraphina decided to seek the help of the bravest and kindest person she knew, a young girl named Arya who lived on the edge of the forest. Arya had always shown a deep love for the natural world and had an adventurous spirit. Arya agreed to help and set out on her quest with Oren guiding her. The first clue was hidden in the Whispering Woods, where the trees were said to hold secrets in their rustling leaves. The Whispering Woods and the Whispering Woods, the trees whispered directions and riddles. Arya listened carefully to the rustling leaves and followed the path they revealed. She soon came upon an ancient tree with a hollow trunk. Inside the trunk, she found an old parchment with a riddle, asterisk, in the valley where shadows fall, seek the light that never dies. Only then will you find the way to the crystal's hidden guise. Asterisk. Arya and Oren interpreted the riddle to mean that they needed to go to a valley where a perpetual shadow was cast by an eternal mountain. The Valley of Eternal Shadows. They traveled to the Valley of Eternal Shadows, where the towering mountain cast a permanent shade. At the valley's heart was a small, hidden cave. Inside, they discovered a glowing orb resting on a pedestal. The orb was known as the Eternal Light, and it provided them with the next clue, asterisk, when the moon's tears are seen, find the mirror that reflects the unseen. There lies the path to the crystal, hidden where dreams are woven. Asterisk. The mirror of dreams. Following the clue, Arya and Oren journeyed to the Dreamweaver's Glen, a place known for its magical mirrors that could reflect not just appearances but also hidden truths. They searched among the mirrors and found one that showed a vision of a moonlit lake, where the starlight crystal was said to be hidden. The vision guided them to a tranquil lake, with the moonlight casting an enchanting glow over the water. At the lake's center was a small island, and on it stood a solitary, ancient pedestal. As Arya and Oren approached the pedestal, they saw the starlight crystal resting upon it, glowing softly but not as brightly as it should. They realized that the crystal's light needed to be rekindled by the moonstone's power. Arya took out the moonstone from her pouch and held it up. The crystal's light and the moonstone's light began to intertwine, merging and growing brighter. The lake shimmered with renewed magic, and the kingdom of Lumina began to glow once more. Returned to Lumina with the starlight crystal restored, Arya and Oren returned to Lumina. Queen Seraphina welcomed them with immense gratitude. She placed the crystal beside the moonstone, and its light became radiant again, filling the kingdom with a warm, magical glow. The kingdom's magic was revitalized, and the once fading moonstone now shone brighter than ever. The trees, flowers, and waters of Lumina sparkled with renewed life. The kingdom celebrated Arya's bravery and kindness, and she was honored as a hero of Lumina. Arya returned to her home with a heart full of joy and the knowledge that even the smallest light can make a great difference. The story of her quest became a cherished tale in Lumina, a reminder of the power of courage, friendship, and the magic that can be found in every heart. And so, under the shimmering light of the moon and the starlight crystal, Lumina continued to thrive, its magic and beauty preserved for generations to come. The end. In a land where rolling hills kissed the sky and meadows stretched as far as the eye could see, there was a small, peaceful village called Elderglen. The village was renowned for its tranquility and the gentle, melodious songs of its river, which wound through the heart of the village, shimmering under the sunlight. At the edge of Elderglen stood a grand, ancient oak tree known as the Heartwood. This tree was not only the oldest in the land but also the keeper of a mysterious secret. It was said that the Heartwood held a magical sapphire, which protected the village from any harm and kept the balance of nature in harmony. One bright spring morning, the village awoke to find that the river's music had changed. Instead of its usual soothing melody, it now carried a discordant, ominous tune. The villagers were troubled and gathered around the Heartwood to discuss the strange phenomenon. It was then that the wise old storyteller, Elara, spoke up. "The Heartwood has always protected us with the magic of the sapphire," she said. "If the river's song is disturbed, it must mean that something has happened to the sapphire." The village's youngest resident, a brave and curious girl named Lila, stepped forward. "I'll find the sapphire," she said. "I've always felt a special connection to the Heartwood. Perhaps I'm meant to help." The villagers were initially hesitant but soon recognized Lila's determination and agreed to let her embark on the quest. Elara gave her a small, leather-bound journal and a compass that had been in her family for generations. "This journal will guide you with ancient wisdom," Elara explained. "And the compass will point you towards the heart of the problem." With the journal and compass in hand, Lila set off on her journey. She ventured deep into the forest, where the trees were dense and shadows danced in the dappled light. The compass needle swung erratically, guiding her towards an ancient, forgotten pathway. After a day of travel, Lila reached a hidden glen where the trees grew in an unusual formation, a perfect circle around a solitary, majestic waterfall cascading into a crystal-clear pool. In the center of the pool was a small island with an intricately carved stone pedestal. Upon the pedestal rested a large, brilliant sapphire that glowed with a mesmerizing light. Lila approached the pedestal cautiously and noticed a series of runes inscribed around the base. She opened the journal and began to decipher the runes, which spoke of an ancient spell that bound the sapphire to its protective magic. The runes revealed that the sapphire was in danger of being stolen by a dark sorcerer who sought to disrupt the balance of nature for his own gain. As Lila completed the spell, a shadowy figure emerged from the trees, an old sorcerer with a cloak as dark as the night. His eyes gleamed with malicious intent. "The sapphire belongs to me," he hissed. "It will serve my power, not your village's peace." Determined to protect her home, Lila stood her ground. "The sapphire's magic belongs to nature and to those who honor it," she declared. "It will not be used for evil." The sorcerer laughed and tried to seize the sapphire, but as his hand reached for it, the sapphire's light flared brightly, casting a protective shield around it. Lila realized that the sapphire's magic was linked to the purity of intention and the strength of her own resolve. Summoning her courage, Lila recited the ancient spell she had deciphered from the journal. As she spoke the final words, the sapphire's light intensified, forming a beam that struck the sorcerer and encased him in a glowing prison. The sorcerer's dark magic was no match for the sapphire's protective enchantment. With the sorcerer subdued, Lila carefully returned the sapphire to its rightful place on the pedestal. The magic of the sapphire surged through the air, restoring harmony to the river's song and the balance of nature. The waterfall's waters sparkled with renewed brilliance, and the glen was filled with a sense of peace and serenity. Lila made her way back to Elderglen, where the villagers welcomed her with cheers and celebration. The river's melody was once again a gentle, soothing tune, and the heartwood stood tall, its protective magic stronger than ever. From that day on, Lila became a cherished hero in Elderglen. She continued to explore the mysteries of the land and share her adventures with the village. The heartwood and the sapphire remained symbols of the balance and protection of nature, reminding everyone of the importance of bravery, purity of heart, and the magic that resides within each of them. And so, the tale of Lila and the Sapphire Guardian was passed down through the generations, a story of courage, magic, and the unbreakable bond between nature and those who protect it. In the heart of the enchanted forest, where ancient trees whispered secrets and magical creatures roamed freely, there was a small village named Everwood. Everwood was known for its enchanting beauty and its mysterious moonlit lake, which was said to hold a magical secret. Each month, on the night of the full moon, a soft, melodious tune would rise from the lake, captivating anyone who heard it. The source of the melody was unknown, and despite many villagers' attempts to discover its origin, no one had succeeded. The legend spoke of a magical night when the melody would reveal its secrets to a heart pure and true. In this village lived a young girl named Elara, known for her love of music and her kind heart. Elara had always been drawn to the moonlit lake and its mysterious melody. She believed that the melody was a gift and was determined to uncover its source. One evening, as the full moon began to rise, Elara made her way to the edge of the moonlit lake. The lake was bathed in silver light, and the melody began to drift through the air, more enchanting than ever. Elara closed her eyes and let the music wash over her, feeling its magic in her heart. Determined to uncover the secret, Elara sat by the lake and sang along with the melody. Her voice blended with the music, creating a harmony that seemed to resonate with the very essence of the lake. As she sang, she noticed a soft glow beneath the water's surface. Suddenly, a gentle ripple spread across the lake, and a shimmering figure emerged. It was a beautiful water nymph named Lyra, with flowing hair that sparkled like moonlight and eyes as deep as the lake itself. "You have a pure heart and a love for music," Lyra said, her voice like a soft breeze. "The melody you hear is a gift from the Moonlight Muse, a magical being who dwells within the lake. Each full moon, the Muse sings a melody that can only be heard by those who truly appreciate its beauty." Elara's eyes widened with wonder. "Can you tell me more about the Moonlight Muse?" Lyra smiled. "The Moonlight Muse is a guardian of the lake and the protector of harmony in the enchanted forest. Long ago, the Muse created the melody to bring peace and joy to those who listened. However, the Muse's power has waned over time, and the melody has become harder to hear." Elara felt a surge of empathy for the Muse. "Is there a way I can help?" Lyra's expression grew serious. "To restore the Muse's power, you must embark on a journey to the heart of the enchanted forest and find the Crystal of Harmony. This crystal has the power to renew the Muse's magic and restore the melody to its full glory." Elara agreed to undertake the quest. Lyra guided her to the edge of the forest, where the path to the heart of the forest began. The forest was filled with magical creatures and enchanted wonders, but Elara's resolve and kindness shone brightly, guiding her through each challenge she faced. As she ventured deeper into the forest, Elara encountered a wise old owl named Orion, who offered her guidance. "To find the Crystal of Harmony, you must pass 3 trials," Orion explained. "The first trial is to find the hidden grove, where the crystal is kept. The second trial is to prove your bravery by facing your greatest fear. The third trial is to show your compassion by helping those in need." Elara followed Orion's advice and embarked on the trials. She used her musical talent to find the hidden grove, where the crystal was guarded by an illusionary maze. By singing a lullaby that resonated with the forest's magic, she revealed the true path to the crystal. For the second trial, Elara faced her greatest fear, being alone and lost. With courage and determination, she reminded herself of her purpose and sang a song of hope and bravery, overcoming her fear. For the final trial, Elara encountered a group of lost forest creatures who needed help finding their way home. She guided them with kindness and music, showing her compassion and earning their gratitude. At last, Elara reached the Crystal of Harmony. She carefully picked it up, feeling its warmth and magic. With the crystal in hand, she returned to the moonlit lake. As she approached, the lake began to shimmer and glow with renewed brilliance. Lyra appeared once more, and Elara placed the crystal in the lake's heart. A brilliant light enveloped the lake, and the Moonlight Muse emerged, its presence filling the air with a harmonious melody that resonated throughout the enchanted forest. The Muse's song was now more enchanting and powerful than ever, bringing peace and joy to all who heard it. Elara had restored the Muse's magic, and the melody continued to inspire and uplift the village of Everwood. The villagers celebrated the return of the magical melody, and Elara's bravery and kindness became the stuff of legend. From that day on, the moonlit lake remained a beacon of harmony and enchantment, a reminder of the magic that could be found in the purest of hearts. The clockmaker's secret. In a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, there was a clockmaker named Tobias. His shop, filled with the soft ticking of clocks and the gentle hum of gears, was renowned for its intricate timepieces. But hidden among the many clocks was a special one, known only to Tobias, the timekeeper's clock. The timekeeper's clock was a masterpiece, with delicate engravings and a face that seemed to shimmer with a golden light. Tobias kept it hidden from view, knowing its magic was more than just mechanical. It was said that the clock could control time itself, but only for someone with a true heart and noble purpose. A visitor from afar one day, a young woman named Amelia arrived in the village. She was a wanderer who had traveled from a distant land, searching for something she could not quite name. Amelia was drawn to Tobias's shop by an inexplicable feeling, as if the clocks themselves were calling to her. Tobias greeted her warmly and, sensing her deep curiosity and kindness, decided to show her the timekeeper's clock. Amelia's eyes widened as she saw the clock's golden face. "What is this clock story?" she asked. Tobias smiled gently. "This is the timekeeper's clock. It holds the power to control time, but only for those who seek to make the world a better place. It has been hidden away for many years, waiting for someone with a pure heart to come along. the timekeeper's challenge, Amelia felt a surge of hope and determination. She had heard tales of a land plagued by eternal night, where the sun had not risen for years. The people there were suffering, and she wanted to help. Tobias, seeing the resolve in her eyes, gave her a small key. "This key will unlock the timekeeper's clock," Tobias explained. "But remember, time is a delicate thing. Use its power wisely." Amelia took the key and made her way to the land of eternal night. As she traveled, she could feel the weight of the darkness pressing in around her. The once beautiful land was now a shadow of its former self, with wilting trees and silent fields. Unlocking the magic at the heart of the land was a grand clock tower, its hands frozen in time. Amelia approached the tower and used the key to unlock the timekeeper's clock, which she had brought with her. The clock's golden face began to glow softly, and the hands started to move. As the hands ticked forward, a magical light spread across the land. The darkness began to recede, and the first rays of dawn broke through the sky. The land, once shrouded in night, was bathed in the warm, golden light of sunrise. Flowers bloomed, and the fields came alive with vibrant colors. The people of the land emerged from their homes, their faces filled with wonder and joy. They gathered around Amelia, thanking her for bringing back the light. She explained that it was the timekeeper's clock that had restored the sun, and that she had only been its messenger. The gift of time, the villagers celebrated the return of day, and Amelia was honored for her bravery and kindness. The timekeeper's clock, having fulfilled its purpose, began to dim. But before it faded completely, it bestowed a final gift upon Amelia, a small hourglass filled with sparkling sand. "This hourglass will allow you to return to this land whenever it is needed," Tobias had said. "And remember, the true power of time lies not in controlling it, but in using it to help others." With the hourglass in hand, Amelia bid farewell to the villagers and returned to her own land. She continued her travels, using her newfound wisdom and the hourglass's magic to aid those in need and spread light wherever she went. The legacy of the timekeeper's clock. Tobias's shop became a place of legend, with many seeking the wisdom of the timekeeper's clock. Though the clock itself remained hidden, its story inspired countless others to use their time and talents for the greater good. Amelia's tale was told far and wide, reminding people that time, like any gift, is most valuable when used to bring hope and joy to others. The land of eternal night was transformed into a place of perpetual day, a testament to the power of kindness and the magic of the timekeeper's clock. And so, the legend of the timekeeper's clock lived on, a shining example of how even the smallest actions can have a profound impact on the world. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering river, there lived a young boy named Finn. Finn was known for his adventurous spirit and his fascination with the mysteries of the world. He spent his days exploring the nearby woods, climbing trees, and dreaming of far-off lands. One day, while rummaging through the attic of his family's old cottage, Finn stumbled upon a dusty wooden box. Inside the box was an ornate compass with a gleaming, jewel-encrusted face. The compass was unlike anything Finn had ever seen, with intricate designs etched into its brass casing. At the center of the compass, where the needle usually pointed north, was a small, glowing emerald. Finn was captivated by the compass and decided to take it with him on his next adventure. He slipped it into his pocket and set off into the woods, eager to discover what secrets the compass might hold. As Finn wandered deeper into the forest, he noticed something extraordinary. The compass needle, instead of pointing north, began to sway and glow softly, guiding him toward a hidden path he had never noticed before. With excitement bubbling in his chest, Finn followed the compass's guidance. The path led Finn to a hidden glen, bathed in golden sunlight. At the center of the glen was a magnificent tree with silver leaves that shimmered like stars. Beneath the tree, a small, ancient stone archway stood, covered in moss and vines. The archway seemed to beckon Finn closer. Curious, Finn approached the archway and noticed that the compass needle was now spinning wildly. As he stepped through the archway, he was greeted by a breathtaking sight. He had entered a magical realm, where the sky was a brilliant shade of twilight purple, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. In the heart of this enchanted realm was a grand castle made of sparkling crystal. The castle's towers reached toward the heavens, and its walls shimmered with every color of the rainbow. As Finn marveled at the castle, he noticed a figure approaching him, a kind-faced, elderly woman dressed in robes of deep blue and silver. The woman introduced herself as Queen Alara of the Enchanted Realm. She explained that the compass Finn had found was a magical artifact that could lead its bearer to the hidden realm when they were in need of great adventure or help. The realm was a place of wonder, but it was also in need of assistance. The kingdom's magic had begun to fade, and only a heart full of courage and kindness could restore it. Queen Alara revealed that the source of the kingdom's magic was the Heartstone, a powerful gem hidden within the castle. However, the Heartstone had been taken by a mischievous sprite named Puck, who had hidden it away in a maze of illusions and traps. Without the Heartstone, the kingdom's magic would continue to wane. Determined to help, Finn agreed to embark on the quest to retrieve the Heartstone. Queen Alara handed him a small, silver key and wished him luck. The key, she explained, would help him navigate the maze. Finn made his way to the entrance of the maze, where the key glowed brightly in his hand. As he ventured through the labyrinth, he encountered various challenges, bewildering illusions, hidden traps, and magical puzzles. Each challenge required him to use his wits, bravery, and kindness. At one point, Finn came across a small, trapped creature, a golden firefly caught in a web of enchanted vines. Remembering Queen Alara's advice about kindness, Finn carefully freed the firefly. In gratitude, the firefly revealed the way forward, guiding him through a particularly tricky section of the maze. After many trials, Finn finally reached the center of the maze, where Puck was playfully hiding the Heartstone. The sprite, seeing the determination and bravery in Finn's eyes, decided to test him one last time. Puck asked Finn a riddle: "What is the greatest treasure, yet the most humble, that you can give without losing anything?" Finn thought carefully and then answered, "The greatest treasure is love. It is given freely, and it enriches both the giver and the receiver." Puck was touched by Finn's answer and, with a mischievous grin, handed over the Heartstone. Finn thanked Puck and made his way back to the castle. With the Heartstone restored to its rightful place, the enchanted realm's magic was rejuvenated. The skies grew even more brilliant, and the flowers bloomed with renewed vigor. Queen Alara and the magical inhabitants of the realm celebrated Finn's bravery and kindness. As a token of their gratitude, Queen Alara gifted Finn a small, enchanted crystal that would allow him to visit the enchanted realm whenever he wished. Finn returned to his village, where he shared his incredible adventure with everyone, and the enchanted compass remained a cherished memento of his journey. And so, Finn's heart and the magical realm were forever intertwined, reminding him that courage, kindness, and love were the true keys to unlocking the wonders of the world. Once upon a time, in the heart of the verdant kingdom of Eldoria, there was a mystical grove known as the Grove of Whispering Wishes. This enchanted grove was said to hold the power to grant a single wish to anyone who proved their worth through acts of courage, wisdom, and kindness. At the center of the grove stood an ancient, shimmering fountain known as the Fountain of Echoes. In a charming village nearby, there lived a young girl named Eloan. Eloan was known for her adventurous spirit and her kindness toward everyone she met. Her best friend was a clever, mischievous squirrel named Pip, who loved to explore and find hidden treasures. One sunny morning, Eloan and Pip discovered a weathered parchment that spoke of a rare celestial event known as the Starfall Festival. The parchment hinted that the Fountain of Echoes would be illuminated by the stars, and those who visited the grove during this event would have a chance to make a wish. Intrigued, Eloan and Pip decided to visit the Grove of Whispering Wishes and uncover its secrets. As the evening approached and the sky began to darken, Eloan and Pip made their way to the grove. The path was lined with glowing lanterns that seemed to float above the ground, guiding them toward their destination. When they arrived at the grove, they were greeted by a soft, enchanting glow emanating from the Fountain of Echoes. The fountain's waters sparkled with a myriad of colors, and the air was filled with the soothing sound of gentle whispers. However, the path to the fountain was blocked by 3 magical gates, each with a unique trial that needed to be completed before they could reach the fountain. The first gate was the Gate of Courage. It was guarded by a majestic, but stern, griffin who challenged Eloin and Pip with a riddle. "I have keys but open no locks, I have space but no room, you can enter but not go outside. What am I?" Eloin thought hard and then realized the answer was a piano. As she spoke the answer aloud, the griffin nodded in approval, and the gate slowly opened, allowing them to proceed to the next trial. The second gate was the Gate of Wisdom. It was a shimmering gate covered in ancient runes. To open it, Eloin and Pip needed to solve a complex puzzle made of glowing, interlocking pieces that formed a celestial map. Pip used his nimble paws to fit the pieces together, while Eloin guided him by reading the runes. As they completed the celestial map, the gate glowed brightly and opened, revealing the path to the final gate. The last gate was the Gate of Kindness. It was adorned with delicate vines and flowers and guarded by a gentle spirit. To pass through, they needed to perform a kind deed. In the clearing near the gate, they found a small, injured fawn with a hurt leg. Eloin and Pip carefully tended to the fawn, using herbs and soft cloths to treat its injury. Eloin spoke soothingly to the fawn, and Pip offered it fresh water and tender leaves to eat. The fawn, now feeling much better, nuzzled them gratefully. The spirit, touched by their compassion, allowed them to pass through the gate. They reached the Fountain of Echoes, which was now illuminated by the falling stars, creating a breathtaking spectacle of light and color. Eloin and Pip approached the fountain, their hearts filled with hope and wonder. Eloin closed her eyes and made her wish, "I wish for the prosperity and happiness of all the people and creatures of Eldoria, so that they may live in harmony and joy." The Fountain of Echoes shimmered with a radiant light, and a gentle breeze carried Eloin's wish throughout the kingdom. The stars above twinkled even more brightly, and a sense of peace and happiness spread across Eldoria. Eloin and Pip returned to their village, where they were greeted with gratitude and celebration. The story of their adventure and the magic of the Grove of Whispering Wishes became a cherished legend, reminding everyone of the power of courage, wisdom, and kindness. And so, the Grove of Whispering Wishes continued to be a place of magic and wonder, where dreams and wishes flourished under the light of the stars. The end. Once upon a time, in a land far beyond the mountains and across the glistening rivers, there was a magical forest known as the Enchanted Woods. This forest was not like any ordinary forest. It was home to all sorts of mystical creatures, talking animals, fairies with shimmering wings, and trees that whispered secrets to those who would listen. At the heart of this forest, there was a village inhabited by woodland creatures. The leader of the village was a wise old owl named Orin, who had lived for hundreds of years. Orin's knowledge of the forest and its magic was unparalleled, and he was beloved by all the creatures. Among the villagers was a young fox named Felix. Felix was curious and adventurous, always eager to explore new places and discover new things. One sunny morning, Felix woke up with a sense of excitement. He had heard whispers of a hidden treasure deep within the Enchanted Woods. This treasure, according to the tales, could grant a single wish to whoever found it. Determined to find the treasure and make a wish for endless adventures, Felix set out on his journey. As Felix ventured deeper into the forest, he met a friendly squirrel named Sophie. Sophie was known for her agility and sharp eyes. When she heard about Felix's quest, she eagerly offered to help. "I can climb the tallest trees and see far and wide," she said. "Together, we can find this treasure." The two friends traveled through the forest, encountering various magical creatures along the way. They met Luna, a gentle deer with a golden crown of flowers, who guided them through a maze of thorny bushes. They crossed paths with a mischievous raccoon named Rocco, who loved riddles and challenged them to solve one before revealing the safest route across a roaring river. After days of traveling and overcoming challenges, Felix and Sophie finally arrived at a clearing bathed in golden light. At the center of the clearing stood an ancient oak tree, its branches spreading wide and high, its roots twisting deep into the ground. The tree seemed to hum with a gentle, magical energy. "This must be it," whispered Sophie, her eyes wide with wonder. Felix approached the tree and noticed a small, glowing door at its base. Taking a deep breath, he opened the door and stepped inside. The interior of the tree was like a cavern, filled with sparkling crystals and a soft, ethereal glow. At the center of the cavern was a pedestal, and on it rested a simple, yet beautifully crafted, wooden box. With trembling paws, Felix opened the box. Inside, he found an ornate golden key and a note that read, "The true treasure lies within your heart. Use this key to unlock your greatest potential." Felix was puzzled but took the key and stepped back outside. As he did, Orin the owl appeared, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. "Felix, the treasure you seek is not gold or jewels, but the courage, kindness, and wisdom within you. The key will help you unlock these qualities and lead your village with bravery and compassion." Felix realized that his greatest adventure was not a distant journey, but the journey within himself. He thanked Orin and, with Sophie by his side, returned to the village. Using the key, Felix unlocked his potential, becoming a brave and wise leader, guiding his friends and family with kindness and courage. The enchanted woods thrived under Felix's leadership, and the village flourished. Felix's adventures continued, not in search of treasures, but in making the world around him a better place. And so, the story of Felix, the brave little fox, became a legend in the enchanted woods, inspiring generations to come. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed the story. Once upon a time, in the charming village of Evergreen, nestled at the edge of a vast, whispering forest, there lived a young girl named Clara. Clara was known throughout the village for her bright spirit and her love for the night sky. She often spent her evenings gazing up at the stars, dreaming of far-off lands and adventures. One crisp autumn evening, as Clara was exploring the attic of her grandmother's old house, she discovered an antique lantern covered in dust. It was a beautiful lantern, adorned with intricate carvings of stars and moons, and it had a small, glowing crystal at its center. Curious, Clara decided to clean it up and see if it still worked. As soon as Clara polished the lantern, the crystal began to glow with a soft, golden light. The lantern flickered to life, casting a warm, inviting glow throughout the attic. Clara was amazed and decided to take the lantern outside to see what it might reveal. That night, the moon was full and bright, casting its silvery light over the village. Clara carried the lantern into the forest, following a path she had never taken before. As she walked deeper into the woods, the lantern's glow grew brighter, illuminating a trail of shimmering lights that seemed to guide her way. Following the magical lights, Clara arrived at a hidden glen surrounded by towering trees and bathed in moonlight. In the center of the glen was a small, enchanted pond with water as clear as crystal. At the edge of the pond was a tiny, ancient stone archway that seemed to sparkle with a magical aura. The lantern's light grew even more brilliant as Clara approached the archway. As she stepped through it, she found herself in a mystical realm, unlike anything she had ever seen. The sky was a swirl of deep blues and purples, and the land was filled with glowing flowers and sparkling trees. At the center of this magical realm was a grand castle made entirely of shimmering moonstone. In the castle's courtyard, Clara saw a regal figure, a kind-faced fairy queen with wings that glittered like stardust. The fairy queen welcomed Clara with a warm smile and explained that the lantern she had discovered was a magical artifact known as the Star Lantern. It was said to hold the power to reveal hidden places and guide those who sought to restore balance to the magical realm. The fairy queen explained that the realm had been cast into darkness by a powerful spell, and the only way to lift the spell was to find and return the missing moonstone, a gem of great power that had been stolen by a rogue sorcerer. The sorcerer had hidden the moonstone in a maze of illusions, and no one had been able to retrieve it. Determined to help, Clara accepted the challenge and set out to find the moonstone. Guided by the Star Lantern's light, she ventured into the maze. The maze was filled with confusing paths, magical traps, and illusions that tested her courage and wit. As Clara navigated the maze, she encountered various creatures who needed her help. She freed a trapped fire sprite, mended a broken wing of a fairy, and solved riddles that revealed hidden pathways. Each act of kindness and bravery brought her closer to the heart of the maze. Finally, Clara reached the center of the maze, where the rogue sorcerer was guarding the moonstone. The sorcerer was surprised to see a young girl with such determination and courage. Clara bravely faced the sorcerer and spoke from her heart, explaining how the realm's darkness had affected everyone and how she wanted to help restore the light. The sorcerer, moved by Clara's sincerity, realized the error of his ways and willingly returned the moonstone. With the moonstone in hand, Clara made her way back to the Fairy Queen's castle. As Clara placed the moonstone in its rightful place, the magical realm was bathed in a brilliant, rejuvenating light. The darkness lifted, and the land was once again filled with vibrant colors and enchanting beauty. The Fairy Queen and the magical inhabitants celebrated Clara's bravery and kindness with a grand feast and a magnificent display of fireworks that lit up the sky. As a token of their gratitude, the Fairy Queen gifted Clara a small, enchanted veil filled with moonlight, which would allow her to visit the magical realm whenever she wished. With her heart full of joy and her spirit enriched by her adventure, Clara returned to her village. The star lantern remained a cherished memento of her journey, and she often shared her story with the villagers, reminding them of the magic that lies in kindness and bravery. And so, Clara's adventure became a beloved tale in Evergreen, and the magical realm continued to shine brightly, a testament to the power of a brave heart and the light of a true hero. The moonlit garden in a tranquil village surrounded by rolling hills and wildflower meadows, there was a secluded garden known only to a few. This garden was enchanted, blooming with flowers that sparkled in moonlight and trees that whispered secrets to those who listened. The garden belonged to an old woman named Eloan, who was known as the Moonlit Gardener. Eloan had a special gift. Each night, when the moon was full, she would tend to her garden, and her touch would make the flowers glow brighter. The villagers often wondered about the magical beauty of the garden but never dared to enter, for Eloan was known to be very private and mysterious. The curious child one day, a curious little girl named Lily, who had always been fascinated by the tales of the moonlit garden, decided to explore. Lily was a kind-hearted child with a deep sense of wonder. She had heard the stories of Eloan's magical garden and longed to see it for herself. One evening, as the moon began to rise, Lily quietly slipped away from her home and made her way to the edge of the garden. The gate was covered in vines and seemed to be locked, but Lily noticed a small, shimmering key hanging on a nearby tree branch. With a sense of adventure, she took the key and unlocked the gate. The enchanted garden. As Lily stepped into the garden, she was greeted by a sight of breathtaking beauty. Flowers of every color and shape glowed softly, casting a magical light that danced across the garden. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming petals and the gentle hum of bees. Trees with golden leaves swayed rhythmically, and the entire garden seemed to be alive with enchantment. In the center of the garden stood a grand fountain with water that shimmered like liquid stardust. Lily approached the fountain and saw Eloan sitting beside it, humming a lullaby. Eloan looked up and smiled warmly at Lily. "Welcome, dear child. I've been expecting you." A special request. Lily, though awestruck, found her voice and asked, "Why do you tend this magical garden every night?" Eloan's eyes twinkled with wisdom as she answered, "This garden is a place where dreams and magic come to life. It's a gift that helps people find their own magic within. But now, I need your help." Lily's eyes widened in curiosity. "What can I do to help?" Eloan explained that the garden's magic was fading, and only a special flower called the moon blossom, which bloomed once every 100 years, could restore its power. The moon blossom was hidden deep in the heart of the garden, guarded by an ancient enchantment. The quest for the moon blossom. With a sense of purpose, Lily embarked on the quest to find the moon blossom. Guided by the moonlight and the whispers of the trees, she ventured deeper into the garden. Along the way, she encountered a series of gentle challenges. First, she crossed a bridge made of silver mist. To pass, she needed to answer a riddle spoken by the river. "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Lily thought for a moment and replied, "A joke." The mist parted, allowing her to continue. Next, she navigated through a maze of shimmering hedges. The walls of the maze moved, but Lily remembered Eloan's advice to trust her heart. She followed her instincts, and the maze opened up to reveal a path to the heart of the garden. the moonblossom's revelation at the center of the garden. In a glade bathed in moonlight, Lily found the moonblossom. The flower was unlike anything she had ever seen. Its petals were a silvery white, and it glowed with a soft, pulsating light. As she reached out to touch it, the moonblossom responded by releasing a gentle, melodious chime. Lily carefully picked the moonblossom and returned to Alolan. The moment the flower was placed in the fountain, the garden was bathed in a radiant glow. The flowers sparkled brighter, and the tree's whispers became a harmonious symphony. A new guardian Alolan thanked Lily for her bravery and kindness. "You have restored the garden's magic, and in doing so, you have shown that the true magic lies within a pure and courageous heart." Alolan then handed Lily a small, enchanted seed. "Plant this in your own garden. It will bloom with a flower that carries the magic of the moonlit garden. Whenever you need guidance or comfort, it will be there for you." With a heart full of joy and a newfound sense of wonder, Lily returned to her village. She planted the seed in her own garden, and in time, it grew into a beautiful flower that shone with a gentle light. The legacy of the moonlit garden. Lily's garden became a place of enchantment and inspiration, just like Alolan's. The villagers marveled at the magical flower and often visited to experience its calming and uplifting aura. And though Alolan's garden remained a mystery, Lily carried its magic within her, always reminding others that the greatest magic is found in the courage and kindness of a true heart. And so, the tale of the moonlit garden and the brave little girl who restored its magic was passed down through generations, inspiring all who heard it to seek the magic within themselves.